Right, intro this.
I prefer not to do an intro. I think the way we've just started should like isn't it fun when a podcast when you just join the podcast and they're just chatting already?
Sounds like you've walked into a room.
Yeah, exactly. So let's carry it on.
All right.
We're here with AJ. What's
Andy.
Up? Oh no, I think I'm gonna call you AJ. What changed? Why did you go from AJ to Andy? Why didn't you like that?
I've never been AJ.
AJ3 FIFA.
I'm pretty sure. Did we not get AJ3 FIFA on the podcast?
When?
Now.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm thinking.
I'll go get it.
I'm thinking you was AJ for a while, at least.
Nah, so people always say, like, why are you called that? Why are you called FIFA? Because I'm stupid.
Yeah.
Don't ever put a game or something like that.
Or HD or 4K.
Anything like that in your name.
You made one of the schoolboy errors of starting.
Well played, Andy. Yeah. And
Although
then
you've got a...
I've got HD,
Yeah.
you've got gaming, and you've got FIFA.
Do you know what I think I've got it worse. Gaming is so cringe.
I got all my stuff changed, though. It's like I've got the actual AJ3 YouTuber URL. Got Twitter to change it to just AJ3.
That was recent, wasn't it? Fairly recent.
Ish, like
Yeah.
a few years, yeah. But it's just my initials. But like nobody has ever called me by my initials, and everyone always just calls me Andy
Your Instagram just stresses me out.
because it's Andy Castell.
Andy Castell.
Do you know why I did that?
Does that not trigger your OCD?
Nah. So to just go straight into one of the things you're asking me about what to talk about, it's because I don't really get Instagram, don't really get social media. So like to me, Twitter's like a part of my brand in inverted commas. Like, so I tweet my videos out, follow me, talk loads of rubbish, talk about my videos, talk about FIFA, all that sort of stuff. Whereas my Instagram, don't really post on it. It's just pictures of me. So that's just me. If that makes sense.
It's more of like a real. It's not the brand. It's you as a person.
I mean, if someone wants to pay me to put an Instagram up, I'll still do it. But it's just pictures
slows
of
down
me.
the growth of your brand, even though you don't want your Instagram to be a brand. Do you not think it?
Yeah, it should be. Like my manager's always like moaned at me for not doing it properly and stuff like that.
I say the same to Rob as well. He needs to
Can't you get your
his.
Instagram changed? Who got her Instagram
Yeah,
changed
so
recently?
it did
Somebody
used
got
to
it.
be AJ3 FIFA as well.
Oh, okay.
And I got, when they
ago.
changed it, they said, do you want AJ3? And I said, nah, I'll have Andy Castell.
Why that?
Because then it's just me. And then when I quit YouTube, and then I just got Andy Castell.
So I know people are going to ask this because I'm going to ask this. How is AJ your initials and Andy Castell is your name?
It's Jason Mumley.
All right, so he's not telling the full story here, is he? He's giving us hard
Yeah, so
truths and mixes.
here's the story of, I thought my name AJ3 FIFA was because someone else had taken AJ FIFA.
So
I added the 3.
right,
But
so not AJ1 FIFA.
Wait, it's 3 lucky number.
nah, it just sounds better, doesn't it? Like AJ1 FIFA
So
sounds
what?
stupid.
You have a
AJ2,
number in your name,
AJ3.
it's not your lucky
Nah,
number.
because now we've got an actual story right. Because my initials are
AJ3.
AJC, and C is the third letter of the alphabet.
Was that just by happenstance, or did you?
No.
Yeah, that is definitely. I was about to give you a free pass then, but I'm thinking about it, that is just coincidental.
Yeah, 100%.
So where can people find you? Rattle it off quick.
I still want to hear an introduction of who he is. Because
He's AJ3, isn't he?
No, but someone could have just tuned into this podcast and they don't have just stumbled across it on iTunes and they still don't have a clue who the guest is.
That's true.
Yeah. So who?
Do you want to introduce me? I've never been introduced before.
I'll do it.
Go on, you do it.
He is a content creator, and I'm trying to make him sound prestigious here. Content creator and social influencer on
Keep going.
YouTube, Twitch. You streamed for a bit last summer,
Yeah.
so I'll throw you in there.
Thanks.
The usuals, Twitter, Instagram, who came up through the video game FIFA, who now has 1.5
Yep.
million subscribers.
And total reach of?
4.37.
Really?
I don't know. Is it?
You haven't done your homework on this guest, have you?
I thought you were about to tell me my own stats then. I was like, wow, that's a lot. It's not that much.
No, I feel let down on myself.
Yeah, you have let yourself.
Oh, what is
down
it
a
then?
bit.
2.7 million.
Is that it?
It's something like, gets out his notepad, it's just like an exact number.
With a grand total views. Oh,
Yeah. Oh, no, I'd say that's a fair introduction of you.
Yeah, that's not bad. And so, like, again, not that I want this to be FIFA related all the time, but how did you get into the industry? What was your come up and your breakthrough?
I was just watching other people make videos. So this is basically a rehearsed story at this point. I'm sure Toby already knows it, because you told me not to tell that before we got into the podcast. I was just watching people, and I went to York University, and we liked to think that we're posh, which we're not really. But there's like 3 unis in the country. I think there might be 4 if you include Scotland.
There's one of 4 unis in the country.
No, that run on a different timetable. So like it's the Oxbridge calendar. So Oxford and Cambridge. Oxford and Cambridge. and in York run on a different timetable to every other
So wait, hold on. Did you
uni
go
in
to
the
York?
country. So I went to York.
So you're trying to group yourself
Yeah,
with
so
Oxford and Cambridge?
yeah,
Is
so
that
they're
what we're
trying to be posh and be like, yeah, we're a really good university. We're like Oxford and Cambridge. But yeah, so every uni starts on like the 5th of September, like school. But we started in October. So then from September to October, all of my mates from Liverpool had gone back to their unis. All of my mates from uni weren't from Liverpool. So I was kind of just at home
So yeah, just like
doing nothing.
time to
Yeah.
burn.
Playing loads of FIFA, playing games, watching other people make videos. And I thought, do you know what? I could do this. Turns out I couldn't do it. Absolutely terrible. But for some reason, some people watched it. And then that was like going into second year of uni. Carried on doing it a little bit throughout, just on and off. And I remember like getting a coin sponsor and being like, the guy was like, I'll give you £3 a video. And I was like, that's 3 Jaeger bombs. Oh my God, this is sick. Yeah. So I was like doing a pack opening and I'd be like, opening with some coins and be like, make sure you buy some coins. And then I put the controller down
So
and like
your
go on a
first
night
coin
out.
sponsor was paid in cash? Mine was coins.
Yeah, my first coin sponsor was coins.
Oh,
I
really?
got 100k coins
Yeah.
per...
Yeah.
It's basically paid in Jaeger bombs.
No, I feel left
Or
out.
tequila or
I
sambuca. There's a place in York called Willow, and it used to be a Chinese restaurant, and it lost its food license because I don't know if it had rats or whatever it has, but
Nice.
lost its food license. So rather than shutting down, they're like, do you know what we're going to do? We're going to become a nightclub. And it was like in the city centre on the high street. It used to like, do you see random doors and you've got like H&M and Topshop and Boots, and there's just like a door in between the middle of them, and you're like,
Yeah.
what does that door do?
Yeah.
Well, it used to be a Chinese restaurant, and then it became a nightclub, and like you'd go up and there'd be like the dance floor and a DJ booth set up, and at the back there'd still be the tables from when they like used to serve people, like people chilling there having the drinks, and they used to do £1 shots and prawn crackers.
Jesus, no wonder why they got shut down. Mate.
Wow.
Good place. Yes, that's how I used to spend my coin sponsor money. So I did that throughout uni, and then got a job straight out of uni to become a teacher and like do my PGCE to like qualify as a teacher alongside of it in the college that I actually went to with Matt HD Gamer's mum.
Oh,
Fun
really?
fact for you.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So used to go and like do some like work experience when I wasn't in uni, like during the summer and stuff like that. Did some at college while that was still on, and then worked for UCAS and worked in a pub and stuff. But I wanted to become a teacher, a psychology teacher, and they needed a new member of staff. So they gave me a job, and I was going to go and do my PGC alongside it. And I was like applying to the unis in Liverpool to go and study that like part-time whilst I worked part-time and stuff. And then a couple of days before term was due to start, I hadn't like signed a contract and everything, but I bought a car and bought crap loads of suits off ASOS and stuff. And they rang me up and was like, yeah, do you know that job? Do you know we're at college and like everyone studies A-levels? Yeah, all the kids failed the GCSEs and didn't get into college. We don't need another teacher. And I was like,
Jesus.
The morning of.
I was like a
How
couple
mad is that?
I was like a couple of days before. Yeah. So you
crazy.
get like your results, and then you go to the college that day and enroll, and then you start the college the week after, and they like rang me like the day or two after the results and was like, yeah, they all failed. We don't need another teacher.
So you was like, I'll become a FIFA YouTuber instead.
Yeah.
So what I did was
Can't become a teacher.
Yeah.
Become a...
Well, you wasn't really a teacher before. Was you? Was a
Nah,
poker- you was
but I
a
wasn't even
Pokemon
really a
FIFA
YouTuber.
master.
I wasn't even really a YouTuber at that point. I had like 50k subs, and was like,
But
at that point I wasn't.
50k was
Yeah, so I was
big.
huge.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you was
so I was
considered
doing
a big
quite
deal
good.
then.
Legit.
But I was like I'd gone from making like £3 a video to making like a few hundred quid a month. Like I bought a Vauxhall Corsa on 0% finance. I could pay for my car. It was like 150 quid or something like that a month. And then like I could go to the cinema with my girlfriend and stuff and give my mum 100 quid a month or whatever. So I was like, all right, I'm not on the streets, but like, shit, like
Yeah.
thanks for that. But I decided, someone made it had like a gap year before uni. So I decided I'd give myself a gap year after uni. And I've got 12 months to get from here until to making as much money as I would be if I was a teacher. And then if I do it, I can carry on. And if I don't,
You become a teacher.
I have to go get a proper job.
Yeah. Fair. And what's a proper job if not a content creator or a social influencer?
A proper job in inverted. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you go and they'll give like I'll give you 25,000 a year on this salary, and like a career job. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
where you go to uni to get.
Yeah, because the term proper job gets thrown about a lot,
Yeah.
doesn't it? And like,
And then people always ask, what is a proper job?
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's 2020. I think this social media age is becoming more and more the norm.
yeah, it's even a lot of one of my dad's friend's sons like just loves YouTube, wants to be a YouTuber, and he's literally like just studies everything he can. Obviously, it's not available in school. You can't study to be a YouTuber or a content creator or an influencer. But he does like in all his spare time, he's just watching all the how-to videos, the come-up videos, origin stories, that sort of stuff to try and make it into gaming or make it into YouTube. And so it's definitely like a platform where these days people are absolutely looking at it for a career. which I always think is a wrong thing to do. 'Cause I don't
Yeah,
think
it's
you'll
still
ever
not a
make it.
proper. It's like being a
Yeah.
footballer or something like that, isn't it? Like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Want to be a footballer? Well, that's cool, but what are you going to be when you're not a footballer?
Well, it was in the papers recently, like at school, kids, like one of the most common jobs.
Do you want to be
these
YouTubers
days
now?
is,
Yeah.
like YouTubers when they're asked at school, what do you want to be when you grow up? That's mad.
So it's like us when we were kids being like, I want to be a footballer. And it's
Yeah,
like,
no,
and
what
then
do
when
you
you're not a footballer, what do you want to be? Like, it was like, what do you want to be? I want to be a YouTuber. Okay, and when you're not a YouTuber, what do you want to be? That's like.
So what did you? Oh,
So I was going to be a teacher, wasn't I? Yeah, but shout out to the fit kids failing their exams, and here we are.
Yeah, yeah. Because
Done all right.
and isn't that weird? Like we're talking about like how you kind of so much has to go. Like the world has to literally come together for you to get to where you are right now. And for you, it was a whole bunch of people failing that was
That's a
your
blessing
platform
for
for
him.
success.
It sounds
That's crazy,
really
innit?
selfish.
It's crazy,
but
though, isn't it? Yeah.
Those kids failing, what was it, A-levels, did you say? Or GCSEs?
No, it was the
to do
GCSEs
A-levels?
to get into
Okay.
A-levels because at that point you didn't
That
have to
sounds
go to college
so
till you're
savage,
18.
But that's God bless them, because
Yeah.
that's made your career.
Yeah.
Well, I made my career, but they let me take the gamble.
So
Yeah.
that is definitely another there's a relationship with you and the viewers, and in the sense like you always think people are always like, oh, you're so ungrateful, or not always think, but you get it from time
Me
to time.
personally,
right?
or
Like,
just
no,
in
just in
general?
general.
Okay, yeah.
People are like, oh, you're so ungrateful. Without us, you'd be nothing. And like you can see that side of the argument. Sure,
Yeah.
if you don't show up,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have these views. I
No.
wouldn't make this money. I wouldn't have this lifestyle. But without me, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be watching me. So there is an element of it. Like it's literally like tit for tat. The same as like FIFA or EA and influencers. EA think we don't need these influencers. We don't need to pay our pros the best money because we're where we're at anyway. But on the other hand, it's like, would FUT have grown to the level it's grown if it wasn't for content creators back in FIFA 11 and FIFA 12?
No, of course not. Look at what Apex and Fortnite and stuff like that.
Right. And so there's
changed the scene.
there's definitely like a symbiotic relationship between the viewers and the influencer. And it's always, I don't know, I always find it strange and like funny when people are just like, oh, you wouldn't have anything without us. And I'm like, well, I would. I wasn't born a 26-year-old YouTuber, right? Like,
I used to upload 9 videos a week.
And let's not all forget, this all did start off as a hobby.
Yeah.
Like I didn't jump into being a YouTuber earning all X amount of money.
Yeah.
And this was the life. I started
It'd be
doing
nice
it
if you
as,
could get that, wouldn't it?
hell yeah. I started doing this at school literally as a hobby. I was making content for people to watch as a hobby.
Was that like 15, 20 years ago for you? Just going off your hairline.
When you had hair, yeah.
I'm just going to let that one slide. But yeah, people think that you're just like thrown into YouTube and you've just earned all this money and like there was no grafting to get there.
Yeah. And so what was your graft? What was it like the struggle for you? What was your sacrifices to get to where you got to?
So I like to think to be a bit big-headed, that I just a bit switched on and know what I'm doing. I can like spot trends and like know what's doing good, how to do this. Like you look at some people and they're not even necessarily doing YouTube, just doing stuff, and you just think, how do you remember to breathe? And you're just like, what are you doing? And like you could instantly look at it and with no experience would be like, well, if you did that, it'd be better. If you did that, it'd be better. So I'm quite good at doing stuff like that and like looking at my channel and looking at YouTube in general and like being able to see why stuff does well and how stuff does, like the analytics of it and like looking into the data and all that sort of stuff. But to be honest, it was just when I took that, you were saying before, like a gamble. It wasn't really a gamble for me because
A risk.
Yeah, it wasn't even a risk because there was nothing to risk. Like my job had been taken away from me anyway. Like there was nothing up for risk. It wasn't like I was quitting and becoming. I'd been a teacher for a year and I was like, you know what, I could maybe do this YouTube thing, and I like quit, and there was nothing like that. I just give myself a gap year and it worked out. But it was at that point where I was like, right, this is it. We're going to make as much money as if I was a teacher. I used to upload 9 videos a week. So I used to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday morning, Saturday night, Sunday morning, Sunday night. And I did that for ages. And I remember going on holiday with my girlfriend to Mexico. And it was like not the first proper holiday I went on, because like I don't come from like the richest place in the country or anything like that, but we always went on quite nice holidays, and like my mum and dad would always save up and take me and my sister away and stuff. But I went on one with my girlfriend where we paid for our first holiday, and it was like the worst thing I've ever been to in my life. It was horrendous. It was in Mallorca, I think. And it was a 3-star hotel. So I was like, okay, it can't be that bad, but it wasn't. It was a 1-star hotel in a 5-star location.
When was this? Like
this was when I was 18, 19.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I think we just finished college and we were going to go to uni. So we went on holiday. Like the room didn't have aircon. The curtains didn't stop any of the sun. It was all
Toilet
inclusive.
didn't flush,
Yeah,
like
it was
that sort of stuff, yeah.
horrendous. It was like the
Holidays
In-Betweeners
build
movie.
you. Yeah,
Yeah.
See,
they
like,
make you stronger.
if I walked into a place like that, I'd just walk straight out again. I'd literally be like, I'd rather go home.
Yeah,
I'd rather
it
not
was
be here.
so bad. And like we used to go to the
Even if you'd saved up so long for the holiday.
Well, if I saved up so long for that kind of holiday, I'm probably not doing all right, am I?
well, that was the point. Yeah. So like it was all inclusive, and you'd like go for a cocktail, and you'd be like, "Yeah, I want a pina colada," and they're like, "Yeah, all right." And they just give you a proper terrible little glass, like basically plastic, stick it under like a slushy machine, and just press a button, and a white cocktail will come out, and he'd be like, "Oh yeah, and a margarita, please," and they'd be like, "Just put it under the same thing, and just press a different button, a different cocktail will come out." You like, it was terrible. But anyway, we went to Mexico, and it was like our first proper holiday. We actually went to a reasonably nice resort and like went to Chichen Itza and all the trips and stuff like that. But we went for 2 weeks, and it was when I was uploading. I think at that point I'd been like, this is getting a bit ridiculous. This was like a year in. I was like, this is a bit stupid. They're only going to do a video every day. And we went for 2 weeks. And since then,
Looking at the camera.
Stop looking at the camera. Do you not want me to look at the camera? Okay.
No.
I'm a bad podcaster. That's what I'm used to. If you're not got a whiteboard for me to hold up and look down the camera lens like that. Okay. Yeah, it was like we went away for 2 weeks. I've never been on a holiday for 2 weeks since. That was like 6 years ago. I just swore I'm never going on a holiday for 2 weeks ever again.
Too long.
Yeah, it's
See,
horrendous.
my holidays were always 10 days.
No, so I love going on holiday for 2 weeks. I don't like making 2 weeks of content in the week before.
Oh, I was talking from the influencer side of things.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I had to make... So the week before I went away, I had to make the 7 videos for that week, the 7 videos for the week after, and the 7 videos for the week after.
And maybe one video for the day after, just in
When
case
you got
get
back.
and you're jet lagged and stuff. Yeah.
And it was horrendous. Yeah. I'd get up, like, I've never worked so much in my life. Like, my first 2 years of uni, my exams were multiple choice. It was a joke.
Yeah.
The third year, I actually did quite a lot of work. And, like, we'd get up and someone would make a coffee at, like, 8 o'clock, make a cafetiere. Everyone else comes down. We go on our bikes, we ride to the gym. We go to the gym. You do your dissertation all day. You eat your lunch, you do it again, and come home, make your tea, go to the library, do it again, get up. And did that for, like, 3 months straight. This was way... When people say, like, oh, I'm in my third year uni, it's hard. This is way worse. Like, it was only a week or two of doing it, but I'd literally get up at, like, 7 o'clock and go to sleep at, like, 2 o'clock in the morning. I'd literally be making a video for 18 hours a day. Yeah, it was horrific. And I just said, I think I didn't quite do it. I missed a video or two, and I've said, I'm going to edit these while I'm there.
And you just don't.
did.
I've tried that a few times.
If you ever take raw footage on a holiday to edit whilst you're there,
nah, it's not happening.
Leave that
but it was good because I realised that whilst maybe, just to give a number for an example, say it was 100k was what my videos are getting. Every video get 100k, so I get 700k views a week. I noticed that when I didn't upload them couple of videos, the last one that I did upload maybe got 130k views instead. So then I was like, I could just upload 5 videos and still get 700k views a week.
PewDiePie had a video, I want to say about 4 years ago now, where he was talking about YouTube like suffocating his content because he uploaded too much.
Yeah.
And he started scaling back his content and how much he would upload, because and it still works, it's still the same to the day, but when you upload a video, it gets published to a subbox, right? If somebody actively opts out of that, if they see that on their like subscriptions page and then they don't watch that video, YouTube notes that and says, okay, you didn't watch that. If it happens again and again and again, eventually YouTube will be like, okay, so you actually don't like this person's content.
We're not going to show you
putting it in your sub box. So when you upload a whole bunch of content, people can't watch that much straight away all at once. Mm-hmm. So by uploading less videos, as you say, you put one video up, more people watch it, YouTube catch it a lot more, gets pushed a lot more into recommended, into the search engines, and you get a big win out of it. However, uploading lots of videos gets you lots of ads, lots more money. So you might get a lot of less views, but
swings around ads.
Yeah, it does. And something I didn't know until recently, Philly Deep was talking about this on his video. If you upload more than 4 videos in a 24-hour period, it literally just won't publish that video anywhere. He won't put it into sub boxes, won't put it into search engines or anything. It's just, if people go to your channel, they'll see it, and if otherwise they won't, which is crazy.
Mad. Did you see when the Premier League channel started and they uploaded like 400 videos in one day?
Yeah, but that's the sort of thing where somebody will just sit on the page and like scroll down and be like, oh, I want to see that, and I want to see that. Yeah.
That was archival stuff that they needed to get uploaded, but even then, I was a bit like the last video like had like 100,000 views and all the others had like 100 each. They just seen that at the top of the thing.
Well,
was like,
speaking of
watch that.
Like archived style videos, what I've been watching recently. What's a Shark Tank? You know Shark Tank in Australia?
Dragon's Den?
Yeah, Dragon's Den. They've started uploading like all
it's so annoying. I wish they'd stop recommending them to me.
I have seen that recommended Shark Tank. Is that what it is?
Yeah, Shark Tank's like the Australian one that I was watching the other day.
Dragon's Den.
But yeah, Dragon's Den,
Duncan Bannatyne can't believe that he didn't invest in this product. And you're just like, oh my God,
but
please stop.
Some of the products
is he in
are
it?
useless. Yeah, he is.
He's in.
He's
So he's in both of them.
Oh no, he's a dragon. And
He's a
Dragon's Den.
dragon.
Oh,
yeah.
he's not
But
in
I don't
Shark
think he
Tank.
is anymore. But
Is anyone
yeah.
exciting in Shark Tank?
I've never seen Shark Tank. I just get recommended
I have seen
Dragon's
it.
Den
No,
videos.
I have seen it.
So
Now
annoying.
you said it. Yeah, I've seen it recommended on YouTube.
Sky Sports videos are good as well. Uploading Monday Night Football, but they go proper in on the clickbait sometimes. That is,
Yeah.
I seen one of them. It's like, Gary Neville can't believe Jamie Carragher didn't pick this player for his team, and you're like, oh, what player didn't Jamie pick? I'm going to click on the video.
I don't care about that.
Yeah, I don't click on that.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
but now they're putting official highlights onto YouTube. BT and Sky
yeah.
are like, their YouTube channels are like
Booming.
head to head trying to like beat each other.
Yeah, I was watching all that post show of Monday Night Football
Yeah.
on YouTube. Down, it was like Keane talking about his relationship with Alex Ferguson and Roy Keane and Jamie Carragher picking their best 08-09 Man United team compared to
Carragher's
the
always a banger for them, isn't it?
Carragher's Liverpool team currently, like who would get into the squad stuff. But people have started to get on, finally started to get on to actually using YouTube instead of just
Yeah.
TV.
Yeah, but do you reckon that's a good thing for gaming influencers specifically, or a bad thing? Because if the traditional media forces itself into social media, are they going to like dominate it because of the corporate money and power that
I'd
they
say it's
have?
a good thing.
Yeah, I think it's good. They don't know what they're doing to start with.
Because
and
they're
we
bringing
do.
an audience
Yeah,
to the
but
platform
that's what I was
that
gonna
may
say,
never
yeah.
have already been on there.
Yeah.
So if you know there are people in the world that just they know what YouTube is, they have zero interest in it. They may use
Yeah.
it a couple times a year to find how to cook
So here's an
something or
interesting one.
fix something. but
What got you to go onto YouTube for the first time?
It's probably like the Numa
hell.
video or something like that, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, do you
Like,
remember back in the day, it was always the viral videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the
Charlie
Numa
Bit My
video
Finger.
and
stuff,
Yeah,
and
Charlie Bit My
that
Finger,
was
yeah.
for a long period the most viewed video on the platform by a distance. And for those
Yeah.
of you that haven't seen Charlie Bit My Finger, it's
Yeah, you should go and see it.
a toddler and a baby,
Ow,
and
Charlie.
one of them bites the other one's finger, and it's just a brilliant 30 seconds of just comedy.
I could go and get graced by Ryan's finger if I'd be that big. Yeah, but
Actually,
I'd bite his finger off. If
I'd be
it
interested
made
to
me-
know how many views Charlie Bit My Finger has now. I bet it's nothing at all.
Yeah, comparatively. What's
So
the most viewed now?
I'm going to throw 30 mil out there.
What is the most viewed now, do you reckon? Is it
Oh, I did it the
Gangnam
other day.
Style?
No.
Nah,
um,
Gangnam Style's been over. That was the first to 1 billion,
Oh,
wasn't
is
it?
it Justin Bieber's?
Wacka's got like a few-
remix of. I asked this question the other day. Justin Bieber did the remix of the song. It's like a Mexican-y.
Oh,
Justin Bieber did the
Despacito.
Oh,
Yeah, that's the most
yeah.
viewed video because I was looking at them.
Oh, that's really sad.
Top 10 at all music as well.
Okay,
Alexa,
so it'd be
play
interesting to
Despacito.
see
Yeah.
what.
Luckily, I've unplugged it.
Oh, 800, no, 872k must be more than that.
I reckon.
Nah, that's
It might. It has to be
I would have thought
millions.
it'd be
Yeah,
millions.
for Charlie Bit My Finger.
the original.
How many? Oh, 872 million. Jesus Christ.
Million.
That's crazy, isn't
That's
it?
more than my
I
channel.
predicted 30 mil. Wow. I didn't think it was going to be anywhere near.
I've uploaded thousands of videos and I'm still not even near that.
In
Fun
what, in what
fact.
year is that? Uploaded?
Have a guess. 2008.
Oh,
No, 2006.
Have I gone too late?
Well, when, I don't,
Oh, yeah,
I don't
that-
even know when
that-
YouTube
yeah, that was when I was in
started.
college.
2006 YouTube started.
2006.
7.
I literally created my
I'm going to say
YouTube
3
account
years
about a
after.
month
3 years
after.
after launch. A month after
Oh,
YouTube started.
Yeah.
No.
I created my account to find like just acoustic singers and stuff, like singing cover songs and things like that.
Charlie Bit My Finger. He must be a teenager now.
Well, you would
Well, yeah,
think,
what-
yeah.
what-
You might even be a young adult. at
Must
this
be.
point,
Oh, I'll rephrase it.
He's pushing 10 or so. I don't know. Like he's getting on a bit.
But yeah, do you guys know what the first ever YouTube video that was uploaded was?
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wasn't it an MTV?
Nah.
I
It was the
remember.
creator of YouTube at the zoo.
London,
was it?
London Zoo filming the, I want to say elephant.
I want to say goats or llamas or something like that.
And it was called like test video. It's still up as well.
That's crazy.
And it's in like 200p.
And it's
2008?
square.
2008?
Oh, I'm sad.
2008?
I'm sad.
Did you say that?
Yeah.
Yeah, he said 2008. I'm sad.
But yeah, no, the first ever video was, I can't remember his name, but it was like the co-founder of YouTube, and he went to London Zoo, and it was just called like test video day out at the zoo or something like that. And it's
In
pixels,
retrospect,
basically.
when you think about the fact that that was only 14 years ago, like you couldn't possibly have fathomed how big YouTube would become or how big social media would become in 14 years. It's called Me at the Zoo. There you go. In 14
that's
years.
mad. So he just
Yeah.
went to the zoo and just came home and was like, let me upload something to the platform.
Yeah. And so where do you think we could be in 14
So
more
YouTube's
years?
been around for 14 years.
Yeah, 14 years.
That's
Well, and so
mad.
this is a question, like something that I talk about with viewers quite a lot when they're like, oh, like, I want to become a YouTuber.
Is it
and this
too
and
late?
that.
Is that what you're
And
going to say?
yeah, and I'm like, listen, when I was your age, not your age, you're old as hell, but when I was your age, like,
We're the same age.
15 years, yeah. I was 2005, it was created there, so 15 years. So I'm saying to people, when I was like 16, 17, 18, YouTube literally didn't exist. It wasn't a thing. Twitter didn't exist. Instagram didn't exist. Like,
Cars didn't exist.
well, that's for you, and the car's not existing, but and it does get you excited about like where we'll be in like another 15 years. Like, what will there be now that doesn't exist? And that's where we need to figure it out and get in and the ground level and become billionaires. You know,
I hear people say, "Is it too late to start YouTube?" So many times.
I have two real quick
Depends.
responses.
Do you have a
to
mate
that.
who's a YouTuber?
Right, yeah. So my real quick responses are: number one, if you've got a guy in the industry already, you can make it. Or number two, if you're just exceptional at something, you can make it. If you don't have either of those things, I think you'll genuinely struggle at this point, because there's no concept generally that you can think of that hasn't already been explored. There's no trend that hasn't already been run. Like,
But trends always come around.
Yeah, they do come around, but you just got to make sure then you get in on that trend, and that there's not another
I don't know,
100,000
because,
other people trying it.
hypothetically speaking, 5 years on from today, who will be the biggest content creators on the platform?
Me, yeah.
There will be people
This
on
podcast
there
is going to
That haven't even started.
How many people haven't started a YouTube channel yet, and in 5 years' time will have 1 million
Yeah,
subs?
so there'll be people who can start now and can still become.
Yeah.
However, let's say 100 people started YouTube when we started YouTube, and actually like had a good go at it. Maybe 20 of them
It's even less.
would become YouTubers. If 100 people started YouTube now, you'd be lucky to get one.
Yeah. I'd say you need to get that case study up to about 100,000.
Yeah, but you get what I mean. Like the difference is, it was my first videos were horrendous. Like, they're so bad, but like people watch them because there's nothing else. And eventually, I learned to make good videos whilst going through. And of course, you can still do that. And once you have eventually started making good videos, maybe people will get onto it and start watching them. But it's long, and like, if you've got a mate who's got a big YouTube channel, it can help.
Yeah,
you can get into it. You can learn
some
off them
people
and
have
stuff.
mates that are like in the industry and like quite big in that, and they just give up and just decide to cut their career short and do something else with their lives. Yeah, she's laughing because I'm talking about you.
What are we talking about? Is there someone over there in the corner? Oh, I'm not sure. Yeah, but if you don't enjoy it, I'm not going to keep doing it.
And so why didn't you do something?
We talk about this every podcast.
Why didn't you do something that you did enjoy?
Because I went through a period in my life where I didn't play games for like a year.
Why not just do something else?
Making videos is just dead, though, isn't it? Really, let's be honest. Yeah.
I enjoy it.
Do you know one of the phrases I hate the most? If you do something you love, you'll never work a day in your life.
And if I hated two things, I hated making videos and I hated FIFA. I'm not the guy to force myself for money for that.
Could have streamed.
Yeah, but what? I wasn't playing games.
Playing Rainbow Six.
I wasn't playing.
Streaming and actually playing a game.
I'll never force myself to do something that I don't enjoy. Why?
No, I mean that's fair enough.
Would you not say that to your kids?
I just think with social media, there's something you can do that you will enjoy. Like the world is literally your oyster in that regard. Like to say I just don't enjoy it, so I don't want to do it. I just think it's like quite narrow-minded. Like there's something that you could have done where we could have done it together, or you could have just used whatever audience you have already.
I'm doing it right now.
Yeah, you are. But you could. This is something you do with me. There's something you could do on your own that you love doing. That you like. Do you know what? Let me just put this into videos and see where it goes.
But I feel like there is always a time where someone has to hang up their boots. I'm not going to be Wayne Rooney and just drag it out.
Hey, he's got man of the match card. You seen it? It's pretty sick actually as well. It's all right.
No, that was an uncalled for shot on Rooney. So. But you know what I mean? Like
similar hairlines is why you're stabbing him, isn't it?
It is pretty better actually. There comes a point where you just have to be like. You just have to like.
I see. I disagree.
Really?
I would fight tooth and nail to.
Even if you hated it, every day you woke up, you're like, I hate what I'm doing. Would you not be like, let me do something else?
There have been periods where I've hated what I'm doing now. There are periods where I spend, like I was talking to this about with Lauren the other day, like periods where I genuinely spent like 2 months without leaving my house, with only seeing Lauren and Grace before Ryan was born. And it was depressing, and preparing videos for like Gamescom, for example, spending
trips away
10 days in a row just doing nothing but playing FIFA, recording, editing. I hated that.
Yeah.
And there is the discussion of, is it worth the money that you get for the time that you're spending here. But when you have like dependents or family or whatever, like you don't really have the luxury to hate it enough to give up unless you've got something else to go directly into, which I suppose you did have, but just at a much lower level of earnings.
Yeah, obviously if I didn't have the opportunity that I had, it probably would have been a different story.
Yeah.
But I had an opportunity on the table.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Which I thought I'd enjoy, and I do enjoy. So I thought, why force myself to do this every day if I don't enjoy it?
Yeah, that's fair enough. I just see this industry and I don't understand why people wouldn't want to be involved. I can't...
I don't get social media.
Yeah.
That's weird from someone who's like
social
at the forefront of it, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I agree. Like the whole...
Social media is unhealthy.
Yeah, it is. 100%.
Yeah, it is. I say to you a lot, don't I? I don't understand why people watch my videos.
And I'll argue anyone on the fact that says social media isn't unhealthy.
Well, there's that Caroline Flack thing. Mm-hmm. And then, see what that guy tweeted, Tom? And if someone tweeted...
about this last night, didn't we?
Someone tweeted Visa the same thing this morning. I've seen that. Someone just randomly commented on his video, your mum's dead. Just like...
To who?
Visa, Liam.
Oh, Jesus.
After his charity stream that he's just done. Yeah, it's like people are just social media.
Good does come with social media. I'm not going to sit here and bag on it and say, there have been there have been charity events and whatnot that have done worlds of good.
Mr. Beast's like planting trees thing, like
Or look at all the charity matches the Sidemen have done.
Yeah.
Where are they from? Social media.
Yeah.
It's not inherently good or bad like most things. It's just weird. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it is
I think it can be very toxic. Well, that's why I don't use Twitter anymore. That's why I'm fully Instagram.
Yeah, so interesting enough for me,
awful.
I have like 110,000 tweets, and progressively over the years, I engage less and less with Twitter. Like Twitter for me, remember when like back in 14, 15, it used to just be a lot of fun, like creators just chatting to each other.
And that's exactly what Zerka and Tobe Jizzle talked about in their video yesterday. Really? Do you remember when you used to get in Twitter jail?
Yeah.
Because you used to tweet so much.
Yeah, you get
and Twitter
out,
would just be like, nope, you're talking too much. Take like 2 hours out. Yeah. And you used to sit there, and Tobe even said in his video yesterday, that's why he made his second Twitter. Because he was so like,
in Twitter jail
come
all the time.
on, 2 hours. He made a second account so he could still talk to everybody. And that's why I think like a lot of the old school content creators, like, how many tweets do you have? I think I'm just under
I've got
100,000.
loads,
Yeah, I'm 110k for me.
110k?
Yeah, well, the managed the game has like 250,000.
See, actually,
and out of those 110k, I reckon 10k of them are in the last 5 years.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, see, I tweet like now, all I tweet really is, hey guys, I'm live. Here's my video. What do you think about this? And that's it.
Back in the day, you'd have the longest discussions.
Yeah, chat,
you'd talk literally. It was like it was almost as if it was your voice.
Yeah,
like that's how you chat to your mates. That's how you communicate. That's how you made plans. And,
on that note, though, is my aim this year to hit 1 million Twitter followers. So go and follow me, twitter.com/NepentheZ. I'm about...
Don't use it. Follow me, though.
I'm about 97,000 away. So
actually, that's sick.
Yeah.
I've only got like 300,000.
Yeah, you need to step your game up.
Yeah.
Talking about tweets, it's led me on to my first point that I want to discuss with you.
Go on.
You know what I'm about to say. I don't know if you do.
Do I?
I don't think I do, no.
It's about Ninja.
Oh,
did you see his tweet earlier this week?
Have you got the actual tweet there?
I do. So Ninja tweeted earlier this week, the phrase "it's just a game" is such a weak mindset. You are okay with what happened, losing imperfection of a craft. When you stop getting angry after losing, you've lost twice. There's always something to learn and always room for improvement. Never settle.
Right, let me just have that just so I can reference it. So I get what he's trying to say, right?
100%.
What he's trying to say is, if you just lose and that's it,
cool with you,
then you've lost twice because you haven't learned from it.
Yeah.
You can, I think what he's trying to say is you can take something out of a loss. You can
I
always
agree with the
learn
first
from your
sentence
losses.
It's halfway through when he mentions
when it says if you stop, that's just a personal thing, isn't it? I get quite angry when I lose at FIFA. I genuinely don't learn from that. I don't learn because I got angry. I actually start playing worse and get more angry, and I have a lesser experience with the game. I get better of the game when I stay passive and calm, and then go back and watch the game, find what things I did wrong, and learn on how to improve them. That's not me. So me not getting angry isn't me losing twice. So I think he's like kind of made a misstep by saying that. But generally, the point he's trying to make,
where he's coming from,
I think is a good point. What he's trying to make, because I hate the term "it's just a game."
Yeah.
You tell me all the time, stop getting salty, stop calling out stream snipers. It is just a game, but it's not just a game. This is my life.
Yeah.
I've literally dedicated a decade of my life to this industry. It's more than a game.
Games are played to be fun. and to enjoy.
So I
Depends
talk about this on stream.
what you're
I don't
playing,
think so.
doesn't it?
Yeah, because the game's now competitive to the degree where Fortnite kids, 16 years old, Booga, he won $3 million.
Yeah.
Even just me playing League, like when there's, I'll say what I think about the
League
question in a sec.
2020?
Yeah, but me just playing League, you get someone, the new season just started and the MMR is wrecked. And you get some guy on your team who's got like a 30% win rate. And you're just like, why is this guy in my team? Like, what's going on? And he just loses you the game.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do. And you could say, oh, he's having fun. It's just a game. It's like, you're playing ranked, you're trying to win, go and play normal games. But
go and play A-Ram.
yeah, to go back to what Ninja said, go play A-Ram. Go play AF's out. Go play that. Yeah. I've got a lot of respect for what Ninja's done and like what he's achieved and the way he's gone about it and how well he's done off the back of Fortnite and stuff like that. But the way he tweets stuff and says things sometimes, he reminds me of myself when I'm like 18.
It's very self-centered. He thinks that his world is the only world.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. The biggest thing I learned with my degree started with A-levels because I did A-level psychology as well.
All right, calm down.
No, so like when I was 18, I was saying a lot of stupid stuff. But not even stupid stuff, just like stuff you think. And like, what would be a good example of it? So this is my reply of what I said to Ninja. But even I remember starting to learn about drug addiction when I did A-levels, and then I went on to uni and did a lot more about it. But
is it a coincidence that you learn about drug addiction going to uni? Is that do all people learn about drug addiction whilst going to uni?
No, so I did psychology, and one of my modules in third year was the psychobiology of drug addiction, and you learn about why people are addicted and how you can cope with it and try and treat it and stuff like that. But growing up, if you'd have said to me, and if a lot of people will still say it, and people like reply it when you talk about stuff like that on Twitter, they'll just say, well, if you don't want to be an addict, just
stop.
Don't do heroin. It's like,
it's not quite.
Which is something I personally am guilty of thinking, like when I was like 18, and you start to learn about it and you start to like put yourself in other people's shoes and try and think about it in different ways. And I feel like a lot of the stuff that Ninja said, not a lot of the stuff to like generalize them, but like every now and again he'll say something and you just think,
I haven't thought about that.
Yeah. You just haven't stopped and you haven't tried to critique your own thought before telling everybody else it.
And that's another thing why I do.
I love having
to be careful with my words. That's why a lot of what people say on social media has come from a good place.
Yeah.
And has come from good intention.
Yeah.
But things like
so
sarcasm,
hard to put in a pound. Yeah.
You can't read someone's sarcasm from.
And even just explaining something in 240 characters is so hard.
Yeah.
But like, the biggest thing from that I learned was to look at things from other people's perspectives and try and always think about the counterpoint, even if it's something you completely disagree with. And then you can I love having arguments, and not arguments in terms of like, people think of arguments and they think like shouting and screaming at people.
Debate.
Yeah, and a discussion. And like trying to think about things from different people's point of views, and like, especially when it's like really contentious stuff like abortion or gay marriage and stuff like that. And like, I know where I stand on that sort of stuff and would be quite happy to discuss with anyone and try and teach people, or what I classes teach them, because I think there is a right way to think about that, and like bring them to think like me.
Yeah.
And in able to do that, and like to be able to rationalize your own point of view, you've got to be able to look at other people's point of views first and try and counter arguments against yourself. And I feel like loads of the stuff, again, I don't want to say loads because I don't want to, but on a frequent basis, I'll see stuff that I used to, like, remember that one where he's like, why do NFL kickers miss shots? Sure, there's a guy who just won't miss. And I'm just like,
Ninja tweet.
And I'm just like, bro, it's like, have you stopped and thought about this before you've said it?
Yeah.
And then someone will reply to him saying, why do Fortnite players miss snipes? Just click on the red.
And then I think he was replied, not the nicest.
And it was like, Fortnite is so big, like you've got to build and you've got to do this and you've got to do that. And it's like, take your opinion of Fortnite and what you've just said, and now pretend that you're the guy kicking the NFL football and apply the exact same logic.
If he was an NFL player, I'm sure his attitude towards it would be completely flipped in reversal to Fortnite pros.
So to answer, what I said is, I didn't do a lot of sports psychology when I was at uni, but we did some of it, and to do with, it's one of the things, one of my biggest pet peeves of podcasts is when people talk on podcasts as if they know stuff about things. And like, I absolutely love Joe Rogan, but he talks like he knows everything about everything. And then when he eventually comes onto a topic that you've got like a really big qualification in or something like that, and he's talking about it, and you're just like, oh, Joe, please stop. I don't know what you're talking about. But so I don't want to be that guy, but as much as I can't remember all like the keywords and the terms and stuff like that, this is like where I did my degree. And it's to do with like loss attribution and what you attribute your loss towards. And some people will be external and some people will be internal. And you'll see some professional athletes talking about thanking God. And then other people, that's another one of them stupid things that people say, oh, what's he thanking God for? Like, it's just not even real. And you're just like, well, yeah, but don't be a dick. Do you know what I mean? Like, think about it from his point of view and like think about the counter arguments and stuff. But so I can see what he's trying to say. And he obviously, he not blames, but he attributes all of his losses to himself, which is very good and very good for like a professional athlete, because
one of the reasons why he's so good at
that's why he's so good at the game, because he always wants to improve himself. Whereas if he was like, oh, this game's stupid, oh, I can't believe, you're never going to become like the best in the world or something, being able to do that. And I'm sure some of them do, because to go back to the God thing, that is very external in terms of like attributing your success to things. But then there's an argument that you can take the fact that it's God and then bring it back to yourself, and it becomes an internal thing because you believe that God has chosen you to be the person to do that. So then it'd be, anyway, I see what he's getting at and how he wants to better himself, but I think he's just said it like proper stupid. And he's talking about having a weak mindset, and like having a strong mindset is about being able to.
Like Nep said, the first sentence is.
The phrase "is just a game"
is a weak mindset.
Yeah, it is.
Agreed.
Yeah.
It depends what it's very generalized though, which is why I didn't want to generalize him and say like he always tweets stuff, because he doesn't. But like there's games where it is just a game. Yeah.
Well, and that's like some of the games that I enjoy playing, like socially, I suppose, are games that aren't competitive.
Yeah, it's just a game.
Otherwise,
that's where the enjoyment comes from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I used to play FIFA because I loved it. I enjoyed it. I still love it to a degree, but now it is a job. It is.
So where is the line in competitive gaming?
When there's a ranked queue.
But even when there's not a ranked queue, like.
If you're just playing COD Team Deathmatch and one guy's died 14 times.
All right, okay.
Yeah, but...
if he wants to run around trying to knife people... just
but... So
whereas if someone had died 14 times on League, I'd be like, oh,
but if somebody's running around knifing
game?
people, it takes me to why is he doing that? Because if he's just sat there by himself in his room doing that, I'm like, he might be a bit sad. But if he's doing that for video or something, now all of a sudden there's a new element to the process and it's not just a game again. You know, like...
Okay, so PUBG, competitive, not competitive.
Well, we was at the first PUBG Invitational, so I'd say competitive, yeah.
Andy, you actually said, I could honestly make an argument for PUBG being the greatest game of all time.
Correct.
But when you just said that it's the competitive side of a game, PUBG is PUBG, right? Like, there's only one game mode.
So, but it depends how you personally treat it.
Yeah, I'd say that's where I'd
so there'd be times where like we'd be like, right, we're going to win this game. And if someone else runs off and we're all like pushing Millie base and someone's like, gonna go to
just get a car
whatever and drive around, and I'm like, bro, what are you doing? There's people outside there, they're pushing us, you need to cover the, and you get proper annoyed, and it's not just the game. But then there's other times where like you just drop and be like, oh, let's just go to school and see if we can get a kill. Oh, I died, never mind, let's go into another one.
I think it's the player that makes a game competitive.
I definitely think the audience of who watch people, like I've talked to you about this to you before as well, like I feel an intense pressure to succeed in the game because I feel less if I don't. So when I play even Fortnite, I'm a terrible Fortnite player. You feel less or people watching you feel less? I feel less. I feel like I'm not entertaining them if I'm losing. Like when Nick and I drop wherever in Fortnite and we die straight away, my first thought is these guys must be hating watching this. This is so boring. But if I go and get 6 or 7 kills, or if we get a win, I'm like, this is great content. And so I attribute like enjoyment and entertainment levels to winning and losing, which is why I get so heated and so frustrated at FIFA, which is what draws the fun out of the games for me, which is why I like playing games like Diablo, for example, where there's no real winning or losing. It's just a grind. You just get to enjoy the game without being like, oh, if I don't do this, that'll influence somebody's mindset in a certain manner.
Yeah. I love playing games not for content, though.
I can't.
Really?
I literally can't. If I sit there like on that play seat there, I sat there the other afternoon for like half hour and I was like, I really should just be streaming this. And it's just one of those things that just goes into my mind.
You can always enjoy gaming without it having to be to entertain somebody else.
Yeah, people always say to me to stream League.
I'm stuck in that world where I can't. Like it's always, for me, it's always like if I'm doing this, I should be doing video on it. Even if I like pick up my mobile phone and play a app game, I'm like, man, I wonder if people would enjoy watching this. And it's just like my mind just can't get into the fact that I just want to play a game for fun.
So I just switch off and just playing games has just always been what I've done.
Yeah.
So I just people make videos on League, make videos on this.
You used to always play games off stream.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Up until fairly recently, like what, 18 months ago?
Yeah, when I got that Facebook deal, then streaming changed for me. Yeah. And then the Mixer deal. And now it's like I almost feel like I owe a debt to these companies that are paying me to stream on their platforms. Again, it's one of those things where I'm like, how can I sit here and play a game for me when somebody's paying me to do this? I may as well turn it on.
So when was the last time you played a game for your own, for yourself?
Literally when I was playing that, like for half an hour the other day, yeah. But when we was in the office taking turns. But even when we're doing that and we was writing on the whiteboard there, the laptop stuff, I'm like, this would be incredible content. It would just be a lot of fun. And I know
I see that.
It's a real bad like mindset to be in because it stops me from enjoying my what used to be my downtime. Like I used to have just one day off of the pub a week or whatever like that.
We used to stay up until like 7 a.m. playing Diablo.
Yeah, with skills and whatnot. Yeah,
every night. And I used to go to bed.
How often do we play PUBG together? I would rush through my FIFA video.
You tweeted
to get PUBG.
Nearly 400 hours on PUBG, and that was September 2017.
Yeah, my PUBG was nuts. I did used to just leave it on.
How many hours do you have on PUBG now?
But
probably about 410.
I played it for ages.
I think you'd be surprised.
It is genuinely like the best game
I
ever.
have 1,100 hours.
I'd die on that hill. Yeah.
Wait, you're standing by.
I would die on that hill. That you can argue that PUBG is the best game ever. Yeah.
Well, you texted me this yesterday. I'm very inclined to agree with you. The only thing I think that comes into competition with it is Modern Warfare 2.
I think Modern Warfare 1's better. COD 4's better.
Yeah, COD 4 is better than Modern Warfare 2 in my opinion.
But as much as I agree, because that's like when the older generation, I think. Yeah. But the scale and how Modern Warfare 2 revolutionised kill streaks. Yeah. Modern Warfare 2 changed a lot for shooter games.
COD 4 was one of the defining factors in YouTube gaming taking off.
100%.
Cnanas, Hutch, Chris Smooth, those guys wouldn't exist
because of
without
its
that
simplicity
game.
as well, in my opinion.
Yeah, genuinely.
There was no...
I can't be arsed with the new COD with all the stupid guns and doing your attachments and stuff like that.
When they remastered it to next gen, I think about 2 years ago now, they've remastered Modern Warfare, COD 4. All of my friends that don't play, they'll play occasional FIFA at pre-drinks. Besides that, they don't play clubs like they used to, they don't play COD like they used to. All of them dust down their consoles and went on to thingy. It was brilliant. Yeah. You know, I felt like I was literally like 16 again, playing with all my mates. It was the same group of guys. All of a sudden, they wanted to make money off it, didn't they? So you could pay to do this. You could pay to do this. Microtransaction here, microtransaction there.
And that is another reason.
Killed it. Dead.
That's another reason why gaming isn't just a game anymore, because it's just progressed beyond that. It's now a business. It's it's just more than just like I feel like when I was younger, I would go and look in like HMV or whatever, and I'd just look through all the games and be like, okay, which one do I actually want to play for the sake of playing a game? Yeah. Now it's like, which game is going to give me the most content without having to pay? Which game is going to have like when I played Division 2, it's like, okay, I played the Division 2. And it's fun, but it's such a short game in terms of like the full game cycle. It's like an 8-hour game. Like once you've completed it,
it's a single player.
Yeah, or like co-op multiplayer. Okay. Once you completed it, you then go to a new world, but it's the same game, just a little bit more difficult. And I'm like, this like I shouldn't be paying £60 or £100 for like the Ultimate Edition or whatever for a AAA title that's like an 8-hour pay lifespan. Like it's just not enough. No. That's another reason why games like PUBG are so good, because it has countless
limited replayability.
The replayability factor is massive.
When I used to play League of Legends, I think me and you played it to start with.
I was pretty good when I was like plat.
Now people think you were plat.
I was cleaning up my friend list on League the other day actually, and I was like, you was on it, and I was like, when?
People. I remember people always used to say. Actually, I think I played it just before you because Freezy was the one.
Yeah, me and AJ3.
I lived with him, and I used to just go into his room every day. He'd got his career mode, his QPR career mode out of the way. And he used to just be there on the Rift. And I was just like, what are you doing? And eventually he convinced me, just download it. It's free, which like, again, is something I want to talk about in a minute, how like free games these days. So I played it and oh man, what a game. What a game. And I think we all agree now, because we've all had periods of our lives where we've played it. But people always used to say, how is doing the same thing? Because a League of Legends game is the same, right?
Yeah,
5v5, same map.
It's not
different champions though. When you're playing against different people and different game states and stuff.
Objective is exactly the same. Yeah. And I remember people always used to say, "Oh, how's that fun doing the exact same?"
And now they all play Fortnite every day.
And now like 6-7 years later, Fortnite, PUBG, two of the most successful battle royales we've seen. I know now they've Fortnite have adapted the map through seasons.
Fortnite definitely
PUBG
changed,
eventually brought in new maps. But in its essence, it was
It's just the same, yeah. You
100
drop in,
people
you kill
drop
people.
into a map.
Yeah.
Last one out's the winner. But
League for me was just brilliant. I remember I downloaded it about 10 o'clock one night, and me and Jake were playing it, and it was about midday. I remember Lauren walking into my office being like, "Didn't you come to bed?" Nope. Just playing League still. It was,
my mates used to, because I remember when I first saw it, I thought it was a sad game.
It's a proper nerdy game.
Yeah, it's a nerdy game.
I have a tweet.
Pinnacle.
LOL is for what? Probably some word that I couldn't say today without getting absolutely roasted. But like along the lines of League of Legends is for simple-minded people, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then when
my mates used to call it Dungeons and Dragons when they used to come into my room when I used to live with mates at uni. They used to be like, "You're playing Dungeons and Dragons. It's League of Legends, you idiots." It's like the biggest game in the industry right now. And just like Fortnite, interestingly enough, discussion point, free to play.
Yeah.
Just like Fortnite.
And Fortnite has something incredible in the sense that there's no paywall. The only thing you can pay for is cosmetic items, and that's crazy. Like, how can they make so much money? Because they grossed the most earnings, the most revenue from any game in 2019. Closely followed by FIFA 20. Also, FIFA 19. FIFA 19 was like 5th on the list. Which is just nuts, right? How FIFA can have 2 games as the highest earners in the same year is absolutely nuts. But when you look at them as a game where you literally, it's a skin. It's like going to the shops and buying new clothes for yourself. And that's crazy in a video game where it has no tangible effects.
And again, I remember I used to say to Cal, like, "How much have you spent on this game?" And he used to have like every champ, every skin, like any limited edition ward back in the day. He used to get it like SKT wards, like the competitive pro team skins. And I was just like, bro, that is so sad. Like, come on. Fast forward 12 months later, you can actually email Riot and ask how much.
You can just see it on your account now, you know?
Can you?
Yeah,
really?
yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I went on mine, I was crapping myself, but it wasn't actually that bad.
Is it? How much?
Pretty bad.
Well, it was a few £100.
Yeah, I reckon mine's about £200.
Yeah.
But for a free-to-play game, people will be like, "You sad."
Do you not think that's good though? Because like Nep was saying, you spend like 60 quid on the Division and get 8 hours.
Yeah.
Play 8 hours of League in one day. And I've played that for years.
Exactly. Yeah, you do get your enjoyment. Like, and that's where it comes down to what we talked about briefly beforehand, right? About memberships or like subs and things like that. Is what level of entertainment do you get from something or someone to the point where you're willing to just part with some money?
And that's exactly why I buy skins on Rainbow Six.
Yeah.
Because it has...
You message me all the time about, "Oh, look at this 6 skin." I'm just like, I
Dude,
don't care.
Okay, so
like when we went out with the footy lads and bought a bottle of vodka, it was like 300 quid. You seen how many skins I've got for that?
Yeah.
That's gone. I only had one glass.
Mate, black ice. So the way rewards do now, rewards work in Rainbow Six. So if you win a game, you have a probability of getting a pack. So it starts at 0%, and then it's a roulette wheel basically. So every win you get a 3% increase. If you lose, and it spins. If you lose, you get a 1% increase, and it doesn't spin. You have to wait. So every time, sometimes you can hit it on 5%, but usually you have to wait around 25 to 35% to hit it. You get a pack. It's literally just like a 7.5k pack on Ultimate Team, and you just open it. Whatever's in there. But there's a skin. And this is this is what you're talking about. Whenever I get one, I send it to him, and I've had 2 in the last 2 weeks. And it's basically an icon, like it's like the rarest skin you can get. It's called Black Ice, and I've had 2 in the last 2 weeks somehow. And the feeling is...
and I just don't care.
Yeah, mate.
When you message me, I'm just like, I literally couldn't give it.
It's the equivalent of an icon in like a prime icon moment. Like there's no, that's it. You've got the best skin for the guy. And if you see someone using it in game, it's so rare. You're like, "Oh, this guy's got black ice on his like M4."
But that doesn't. I just
don't
care about that.
No,
like the same thing. Like with Fortnite, Nick has the Dark Knight skin, and apparently it is the rarest skin on the game. Like people sell accounts with that skin on for like lots of money.
Was the John Wick skin rare?
No, there's 2 versions of John Wick, and they're both like not quite
was it
rare.
Black?
I was playing for John Wick. The Dark Knight was like a couple of seasons before. That was like season 1's.
How much is it?
Battle Pass or whatever.
I couldn't tell you how much like people would actually pay for it now, but. There was one we were playing last night, and some guy was like, "Oh, this is my first time on the Renegade skin in ages, so protect me." And I'm like, "What does that even mean?" And like the other guy was like, "Oh, like it's like one of the rarest skins in the game, so people are just gonna go after this guy just because he's got a rare skin." And like for me,
that's cool.
No,
that's cool, man.
not cool.
It is cool.
Like when people are
if
like, oh
you
my
had
god,
the Renegade skin, you'd be sat there like, I've got the Renegade skin.
yeah, but I'd still
No, it doesn't
I'd
mean
still
anything.
be awful at the game.
It doesn't mean anything. No.
Yeah, like when I rock into a game of League and I walk in and my Warwick's got a gold chroma on it, you best know you're about to get the clap down by gold Warwick.
And if you're explaining the game to someone that had no idea of gaming, they'd be like, oh, so like, does it make you stronger? Like, does it?
Nah.
No, it doesn't do
No,
anything.
you just look cool.
Just because
don't
I'm
you?
cool. Yeah.
Speaking of Warwick, when I was played League, I was bad at League. I like literally like bronze 2, bronze 3 level, right? But I used to take Warwick, and like I like
jungle.
I like AD or support. But whenever I got stuck with jungle before like the pick your position thing came in, I'd always take Warwick and just solo dragon at level 2. And people just thought I was the guy. I was just like,
Whoa, this guy does dragon.
Oh, look at this guy, he's in bronze and he's solo dragon.
level 2, and then after it was the one, and then because he has that heal thing, right, where he heals himself as he swipes. So yeah, people were just, oh man, are you smurfing? I'm like, yeah. From going and feeding like 10 times. Happy days.
And again, that's a game that is still. They've actually.
Have you seen them making new games?
Oh,
yeah,
really?
the Teamfight Tactics.
Oh, is that like the board-
TFT's already out.
It's like
Yeah.
chess. I
That's
see streamers
auto
play that
chess.
in game.
TFT's really good. It's just a game. That's why I
Oh, is
chose to
it?
just play it. Yeah. And
Is
they've
it like
just,
Hearthstone?
no, so then they've just brought out another one that's Legends of Runeterra. Not to turn this into an advert for Riot Games, but that's Hearthstone. And then they're bringing out Project Day or something like that. It's called,
See, I love
which is a
Hearthstone,
shooter.
Another game that I spent barely on.
They're making a shooting game that's like a cross between Overwatch and CS:GO.
Oh,
It
interesting.
looks sick.
Actually, no. I have seen it.
Oh yeah, they
trailer
announced it
for
like the
that,
Riot
Yeah.
press thing the other month,
I'm
right?
a big Riot fanboy. Got a
yeah.
Vice statue in the background.
Oh yeah.
Did you ever play Hearthstone?
No.
No, you did you
Yeah,
dabbled into
I've
it.
got a life.
I started playing ranked. for a
Mate, do you
little
know
bit,
the only
He
time
says
I
playing
play that game
hours
is
of
when I
League.
go on holiday.
Really?
Yeah, just on my laptop
That's
or
when I
on
play
your
Star Soccer.
phone. Oh
but-
yeah,
you
it's
start
just
off
like a
for me,
holiday.
Yeah, my holiday game.
I was going to play Legends of Runeterra. It's in beta, but it's not like, it's like you have to have an invite. It's open beta, but not
okay.
literally open. Like if you say, I want to be in it, you can be in it, but I didn't in time, so it feels bad.
So what games should you play in a minute then? League.
Just League at the moment, yeah.
What rank are you?
Gold 3 at the moment. New season just started,
Okay.
innit?
I'm
4 or
so
5
close
years.
to plat.
I got so close to plat last season, and
I want to get.
I got to gold 1 and then just couldn't be asked anymore.
So, you
Just
know,
stopped.
I haven't had time to. I've stopped playing games for the sake of playing games when Foot Champs got introduced into FIFA. In FIFA 17,
That's so sad. That makes me
Yeah.
feel sorry for you. That
That,
genuinely
like,
makes me feel sorry. for
I
you.
started playing like
You're missing out.
I am, but I'm not at the same time, right?
No,
Because
you're missing out. I'm telling you.
but I'm
as
not.
a fact.
But I'm not because like where
If you're
I'm
playing
at in
champs
life.
instead, you are.
It's not just about champs instead though. Like the second channel came about because of champs and the Road to Glory, which obviously is a big revenue stream for me. And without that, if I substitute that for playing League all day, I would rather the money off the second channel than sitting there playing games all day.
No.
So I'm not particularly missing out,
play
but
League these days.
it's very difficult to
I need to
play
stop
anything
playing
with when you Road to Glory on FIFA.
Yeah, you do.
No, see, I disagree, man. Like I love League. Like League's one of those games that I can play for 8, 10, 12 hours a day
Yeah, but
without
then
even realising
afterwards
that
I'll be
time's
like,
gone. What a waste of
Probably
a
shouldn't
day.
have played 12 hours of League today. Yeah.
There were
Good game, though.
countless days where I did that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you enjoy a game, you do you.
Yeah.
But then
Like,
when
is
you
that
have like
not-
4 games in a row with some guy with a 30% run rate running it down mid, and you're just like, bro, please stop. What are you doing?
Like, if you,
My
if
LP.
you-
I'm
if
back
you
in
enjoy
gold
a
3.
game,
You've just got me relegated again.
It's no one else's business what you do with your time.
No.
You know, as long as you obviously like there was one kid in my secondary school that used to just bunk. Like he had like a problem just to play COD 4.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
as long as you're not like throwing
Yeah,
things away
yeah,
and like
yeah.
jeopardizing other
Yeah, well, that's
important things in
the
life.
point. It becomes like a mental illness, doesn't it? It's like
Yeah,
an addiction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you enjoy a game,
I was looking at that the other day, actually,
you do you, boo.
about what point does a game become a mental illness?
Yeah.
So I was going back through, like, not going through my notes, but like Googling the keywords I could remember to get the stuff to
Yeah.
pop up that I knew about. There's like different classifications of when something becomes a mental illness and what is a mental illness.
When you're prioritizing gaming over important daily needs,
So that's one of them, failure to function adequately. Yeah. So that's one of them.
I'd say that's when it gets.
There's a few different ways
been
to,
there a few
to
times.
define it.
Like I said, like I remember
Like just swerve showering, you just sit there in your boxers and just.
not
Just
not,
me?
not to that degree, but like so when El De Niro came and lived with me for about 6 months, like him and I used to get to 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock every morning, and it was like now I have to go to bed because I'm about to pass out. I'd get up and just go straight back and sit down and start playing games again. And like wasn't showering, wasn't eating right. Like Lauren was going out to work instead of working from home at that point, so I was literally just a waster, just because I want to play games.
So there's there's a few different ways you can classify mental illness.
Yeah.
I can't remember them all off the top of my head now, but one of them is failure to function adequately. So that would probably come under
cleaning.
that. And deviation from social norms is another one. So like if you're not acting like the rest of the, like what the populace would describe as normal.
Gaming these days is so social.
It is, but it isn't. Because
yeah.
you sit by yourself, you talk to a lot of people, but you don't actually socialise. I think there's a difference. Wouldn't you agree?
I would, but what is the difference between me sat in here in the office working with you and me going home and us just playing 3 hours of Rainbow Six together? I see what you mean, yeah.
Not particularly anything, but like, you know, when we went out the other night, that's us socialising.
Yeah.
But us sitting down talking to each other about work, I don't think that's it's you are talking to someone, sure, but
social interaction.
One of the things that people don't take into consideration when they look at their favourite content creator or whatever, and why they can't understand why content creators get depressed or need a break or, you know, get burnt out. But how can you get burnt out from playing games? You talk to everyone all day, you've got so many friends, and it's like, you don't really, not really. Like, I sit there.
When the camera's on, it looks good.
Yeah.
It's parasocial relationships, isn't it, rather than actual relationships?
Yeah, you don't actually see someone and get to interact with them. You're interacting with like essentially an AI or to a degree, you know, like sure it's a real person on the other end, but you're talking to your computer the whole time and getting feedback from that.
Gaming has, I know I completely agree with that, but gaming has and is becoming more and more social.
The term social gaming is definitely like bigger and better, but I just personally don't think that that's actual socializing.
No.
Like, I think it's just playing games with people instead of playing games with the computer.
Well, gaming events these days are becoming bigger and bigger.
It depends what your players are. I think, like, if I'm playing a ranked game of League or whatever, you don't really chat to someone that much.
No.
You're playing the game with them, but you're just like, someone's gone back, and you're just like that. Whereas if you're playing Fortnite or
you definitely talk a bit more on Fortnite.
Something that even Fortnite's a bit too competitive. Like, I can't even think. Like, if we were playing TFT, that is just it's a game. Like, all you do is just team fight tactics, like the new League one. Auto chess thing. Just stick some stuff on the board and then just talk rubbish for half an hour and like just be laughing about anything and talking about random stuff because you don't be like, I'm doing this and doing it. You're not thinking about what you're doing, really. You just sort of play it. So I suppose if you're taking it seriously, it's not really. It is socialising, but it's not really. It's better than watching TV, but it's not quite going to the pub.
Yeah. Depends what TV you're watching, I suppose, isn't it? If you're watching documentaries about castles, then.
That was a good documentary. You know, you love that fact about why staircases in castles go.
I do. I'm going to use that as my own. I'm going to be like, guys, did you know?
What were the 2 points I want covered in this podcast? Your job story. Wasn't it? No, it was when we were discussing it.
Oh, okay. How I got started.
Yeah,
and
there was another one.
Was it about my car?
No. Oh, yeah. You said there was a story about getting the RS6. You said you went to Audi.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so we got onto this because you were asking me what to talk about in the podcast. And one of the things I was saying is really interesting is financial independence.
Yeah.
And the ability to not need to work.
Yeah.
To be able to
live.
Yeah. So essentially, if you have got enough money invested, you can live off the returns minus inflation and just have a normal life. Yeah. And you don't actually have to do anything. And you can choose with your time what to do with. And some people would be really bored and would go to work anyway. Or some people would put the time into a charity or into a sport or just sit and play games 14 hours a day or whatever you want to do personally.
Well, you've ticked all of those off though, haven't you?
Yeah.
You've knocked on all of those doors.
Yeah, so, exactly. Yeah. But so it's something I would really like to do. And even if it means carrying on doing YouTube just for fun.
Yeah.
And then going traveling for a few months a year and then just sitting at home and going climbing for a few months a year. Just do whatever you want. But the basic theory behind it is that historically, on average, you can withdraw like 4 to 5% of your money whilst not actually losing money. So if you've got 100 grand in the bank, next year, you've got 98 grand in the bank because inflation's 2%. So your money's only worth 98 grand of what it was worth last year. But if you invest it and it goes up 7%, you've got 107 grand, but it's minus the 2% inflation. Right. It's worth like 105 grand the year before. So you can take that 5 grand out and live on it. So if you get a few hundred grand invested, you don't actually really need a job if you invest it properly.
Right. And so that's where the whole term of the rich get richer comes in, right? Because it's unreasonable for any normal person.
It's like why actors and musicians and stuff, they've all got rich parents because you can just go and try and be an actor because it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
By success, would you say?
To a degree, yeah.
Some things are buying success, but others is just having the luxury to be able to try.
Yeah.
So,
So that's one thing that I always talk about on streams about what I want for my life and for my kids and why I work so hard and why I put so many hours into this industry is because I just want them to have the possibility to do anything they want. I don't want them to be a footballer or a musician or a singer. I just want them to be able to do whatever the hell they want. You know, if it's hey, I want to try this.
Whatever makes them happy.
No worries. Yeah. Like, let's try that.
Yeah, but some people don't have the luxury to be able to try to do that because they just need to. You just need to make money, and you can't try in case you don't.
So if Ryan was a content creator who no longer enjoyed it,
Yeah.
what would your advice be to him?
Do something you enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But people don't. A lot of people don't. This was something, and this was something I seen Jake Paul tweet the other day, and I thought, wow, this is really good. People don't get taught this stuff in school,
No.
and you should do. And I seen Jake Paul tweet about it.
What, like adult life skills?
Yeah, exactly. And he was like, school failed me. I want to make a real difference on this earth. I'm gonna help change this. And I was like, wow, this is actually really good. This could make a
I was
real
talking
difference.
about you yesterday or the day before, wasn't I? About how schools just like they teach you skills that you just don't need when you grow up. Like they didn't teach me to wash my clothes or dry them or cook proper food or
even on the
to
financial
refrigerate
side
things.
of things.
Yeah, they don't teach you anything.
I did economics A level, and I learned some stuff, but you still don't learn. For example, like just a massive example here: the sooner you get a credit card, the better.
Yeah. It helps your
Credit cards are the
No
devil.
one ever tells you at school.
Don't spend
by
it
the
like it's
way,
free money. You have to pay it off every month.
Yeah. But no one tells you at school, oh, by the way, the sooner you get a credit card and start building up your credit score.
As long as you're sensible with
The
it.
only reason I got a credit card was because you need one to rent a car in America.
Yeah.
When I came out of school. No one had told me that. No one had told me how to do how tax works.
Yeah, tax returns, how
But when I registered myself as a company, as a YouTuber, I was way over my head. But why am I not taught that at school?
Yeah,
Why am
exactly.
I taught about the tax rates? How different levels of income you get taxed different amounts.
One of the biggest common things is, so the tax bracket is, I don't know what exactly it is. Say it's 50 grand. When you go over
43 goes to 44.
Yeah.
40.
So it goes 40%. So some people think they only want to earn 42 grand a year because if they earn 43, they have to pay 40% tax.
Yeah.
It's not how it works.
It's only 40% on the earnings
The stuff
in the
above.
next
Yeah,
year.
of course. But
And
people
that's-
don't get that and you don't get taught it.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, Jake Paul, he's going to actually do something good. Did you see what he did? He's charging people $20 a month to try and become an influencer.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus.
It's
Funny
so
enough,
bad.
though, talking about that, when you was talking about earlier how you go into analytics and you love that side of YouTube, as do I. Like one of the reasons that I've stayed, I don't want to say on top because that's very big headed again, but one of the reasons why I stayed as successful as I have been is because I've put the effort in. I'm constantly reviewing everything and making sure I'm ahead of the trends or with the trends and stuff.
But it's all
That's
self-taught, isn't it?
Right. But I always think that would be a product that I could sell.
Yeah, I always think I should be. I've gone into YouTube. This isn't stuff that people you ever really talk about. But I've been in to Google HQ and give talks like BT Sport and Adidas and Nike and stuff and tried to teach them about social media and stuff. And it's sitting there in front of, I don't even know where I should tell this story, but it's pretty funny.
46k for the 40% tax bracket. Yeah.
So going in to do a talk with all these massive executives of, I can't remember if it was, I suppose this is a good thing. I can't remember if it's Adidas or Nike, so I'm not putting anyone on blast. But basically, I think it was just the guys from Google, to be honest with you. It was me.
Oh, wait. I went to a meeting with you to Adidas to talk to them about the social influencer scene.
Was the
With
body
Freezy
coach
and
there?
HD.
Okay, no, so this was another one. So then the body coach was there and he rocked up in his, I can't remember what it was. If it was an Adidas talk, he rocked up in his Nikes and they made him swap shoes with his manager. And I was like, bro, this is where...
For a meeting?
It wasn't a meeting. We were helping them. And they're like,
it's like a
I should be
presentation.
selling you this and I'm giving you it for free and you're making him change his shoes. But that is a big business. People don't get social media and we could teach them about it.
Yeah. We all, just in terms of some influencers I've talked to over the years.
Even influencers don't get it.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. So for example, a prime example that I have, Channy Sports, I told him about ad placements and how better to monetize his videos and literally tripled his revenue overnight.
I did a talk about that with Whistle. I don't know if you went to that.
No.
Years ago. I did a talk of
I did.
what you really want to know from YouTube.
No.
I told everyone, people sitting there
And it's crazy that those things aren't
"Whoa, what are you
free.
doing?"
It would make Google more money if more people knew about these.
Well, look at that Forza channel we looked at the other day. He only had pre-roll and post-roll.
He didn't even have post-roll, just pre-roll.
Yeah.
And he gets 25 million views a month and only has pre-roll ads.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy. I'm thinking to myself,
And what
It's no way money.
And
Yeah,
for,
literally
for
is,
someone that
yeah.
doesn't understand the industry, what does that mean financially for the guy?
So what he'd get for 25 million views a month on just pre-rolls probably be somewhere around $25,000. Just the ad that you first see on the video, probably about $25,000 a month. if he just monetized that better and just put a mid-roll and a post-roll, he'd probably start making like $60,000 to $70,000 a month. If he then spaced his ads even a bit more and put like 3 or 4 mid-rolls in, could easily make $150,000 to $200,000 a month. So he could increase his earnings by
Someone should probably let that guy know, shouldn't they?
Right, and that's why we could sell this product because people like it's just how much do you charge?
But then at the same time, we've just bagged Jake Paul for it.
I'm not bagging Jake Paul for selling a service, teaching people how to be better influencers. I was mocking the fact that he came out and said, I'm going to change school systems and all stuff like this. I'm going to make an influence in the world. Yeah. And then what he's actually doing is charging $20 a month to people to teach them financial skills. Lesson number 1, charge people to teach you financial skills.
Yeah.
But at the same time...
Here's a book on how to make $1 million. Write a book on how to make $1 million.
Yeah, exactly.
But if I'm that guy, I don't know what his name is, but he had just short of 1 million subs and he's getting 25 million views a month. And his...
Throneful, his name is.
No,
Expert Gaming. Yeah.
If I'm seeing that service being offered to me and I'm sat there with 1 million subs and 25 million views coming in every month,
I don't need your advice.
No, I'm good.
Who are you?
Yeah. Little does he know.
But that's like proper specific, don't it? That's like YouTube skills, but even just general
life
financial skills and stuff. So the reason we were talking about this is because I was saying to Toby about my car. And like there was a funny story about how I bought my car and why I got this car and whatever. But I did a video with Paul Wallace, Supercars of London.
Yeah.
And in it, and I remember getting ragged on for saying this, so for the people listening or watching, if they don't know what car I've got an Audi RS6, which is...
What engine do you have in it?
4-litre V8.
V8.
I'm sure it's V10.
Yeah.
It is V10.
It is an Audi engine, but yeah.
I was thinking, I was saying to you, I should have brought my car because I had a drag race. It'd be interesting.
Wouldn't. Well, it would be for me, but I don't think it would be for you.
No, that's what I was saying the other day. I think in 0 to 60.
No, if he's got a V8.
What Lambo have you got?
The Hurricane. Yeah.
I think you would win, yeah.
Yeah.
What does it do it in?
What is it, like 2.3?
God knows.
Nah, it's not 2.3. That's what the new Tesla does it in.
Yeah. It's close. It's like the third fastest.
Really?
Car, yeah.
Wow, okay.
Well, the RS3 beats the R8 in a 0 to 60.
Oh, really?
Do you know...
RS series is just mad.
So the thing...
2.4, yeah, 2.4.
Wow,
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was like top end of that. Mine's like 3.4 or something like that. Yeah. So anyway...
I'm in the passenger seat so I can laugh. Yeah.
So a random fact is Audi owns Lamborghini.
Yeah.
And Audi makes the published times for Lamborghini are correct and the published times for Audis aren't.
To try and sell more Lamborghinis.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. That makes sense.
So
mad,
yeah.
The R8...
Marketing is just brilliant, isn't it? I love
because they
marketing.
can't lie and say the Lambo's faster, but they can just say, oh yeah, the R8 does it in 3.1, but it doesn't. It'd probably do it in faster than most of the Lambos, but they don't want to say that because...
Technically, they're not lying. They've just
tuned the engine to the point where it's a little bit, yeah.
Or they just got a guy to drive it who isn't very good at shifting. So that if we both got in, just put our foot down. I don't know. Yours would probably win, but like if you put someone who could actually drive in my car and I got in yours and just put my foot down, my car would probably win. And if someone drove it properly, yours would win again.
Yeah.
But they probably just like
3.2 in the RS6.
Yeah.
What's yours?
2.6, 2.4. Damn, that's almost a second quicker. That's all right,
in 0 to 60, a second is huge as well.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so it's a sick car. Like I would argue that having a single car, it's the best car in the world. There's better cars than it, but if you could only own one car and you had to have just one car, that'd be what I'd pick.
Yeah.
So for me, I've like smashed it, got my favorite car.
That's perfect. That's fair enough.
But I remember saying in that video that it's not that unobtainable.
Yeah.
People think it's ridiculous, and like maybe an RS6 is kind of taking the piss a little bit because it is like RS6, other than the R8, which is a supercar, like normal cars, like that's like top of the range Audi, like RSQ6, RS7, stuff like that. RSQ7, RS7, RS6, blah, blah, blah. But like, if you just wanted the, just in inverted commas, like it's an insane car, like an RS4 or like an S5 or something like that, or RS5, you can get one for 400 quid a month.
You can, and when we talked about that and have just taking a day off a week of going out, you'll save that money to be able to buy on a car. But getting yourself into the financial position to be approved for that credit is another hurdle in of itself, right? Because like when I think about when I was a bit younger and I was making enough where I could pay £400 a month for a sit car, I would never have got approved for finance.
Do you know what I reckon?
Yeah, because like you have to hit like certain levels of income before they'll like if I say to like the car company, hey, I have £400 exactly spare per month, they're going to be like, yeah, well, we don't want to give you a car that's going to cost you £400 per month because what if your rent goes up or
True, but you
something
should,
goes wrong? Like,
but obviously you shouldn't be spending just your last bit of income. But if you're going out and spending £100 a week on a night out, you shouldn't be doing that either. If that's your last £400, like you should be. This is the financial responsibility.
But that's what people do, though.
But that is what people do. Yeah.
People
But like,
say only buy something if you can afford it twice.
yeah, so you should be saving like X amount of your income. Everyone should have an emergency fund where if it a couple of months for them to live on, just in case something went horribly wrong, you should have enough money that you could live on for a few months, saved in a bank that you can just access whenever you want. If you earn 25 grand a year, try and save 5 grand a year, and then it'll build up and up and up and up, and after 10, etc., etc. So obviously, if it's literally your last £400, you shouldn't go and spend it on RS5 or whatever. But there is people who,
could die tomorrow.
Yeah, could die tomorrow. But there is people who will say, "Oh, well, look at you driving around in a supercar or whatever, and you think you're all this and blah blah blah." It's like, bro, if you might be earning, it'd be people who might be earning like 35, 40 grand living in London and stuff like that. It's not unreasonable if you're just sensible with your money.
Yeah.
That's what you said to me the other day about buying that Porsche I wanted.
Yeah. Your dad told you no.
Yeah.
And I said, why not?
I want to put that money towards the big deposit on a house, right? Which is like
Sensible.
priority of mine right now. Yeah, sensible. And Nep, you were like, if it makes you happy and it's something that you want, then buy it. And then what was that, like 5-6 months ago?
Yeah.
And then last week you're like to me, oh, imagine if you had bought that Porsche, sure, you'd be able to sell it now for a couple grand less.
But you'd have had Porsche for 6 months.
Yeah.
How cool would that have been?
Yeah.
I'd have been sick, wouldn't it?
And if I did die next week,
then you didn't have a Porsche for 6 months. Yeah.
I'd die without having a house or a Porsche. So
yeah, but it obviously has to
it's
be
an
like
interesting concept that
has to be within reason, like realistic. Right, you don't anticipate to die next week or in 6 months, so you think you've got time to enjoy that luxury of life later, and so you prioritize what's most important.
But people don't even like save. People don't even have pensions and stuff like that. And there's like, I've seen a stat where 50% of Americans, if you have $1, you're worth more than 50% of Americans.
Well, so in England, if you're in a positive balance at all, I think you're in like the top 5%, like financially stable people in the country.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, because just everyone's in debt, which we talked about. Was it last podcast?
Like with Tom, about how much the banks had made
$3 billion from overdraft. Sorry, £3 billion from overdrafts in 2019.
Fees.
That's just outrageous.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's genuinely crazy. Like I don't know how the government lets them get away with it.
So they've made £3 billion
because the government own the banks.
Of people that can't even afford to have a positive bank balance.
Yeah, and it's not an exact science like of it's all the poor that they're taking from. Like even when like right now, I think Lauren's in her overdraft. It's just one of those things. It's like, oh, I'll pay it off next week. Forgot about it, and there's a couple of pounds attached to it. And there's probably a lot of people like
it's not big overdraft for people that overdraft fees are a couple quid.
Yeah,
and it's not like, oh, you've been charged like £200.
But there are definitely certain people.
But there's people like from where I grew up. There is a lot of people that will be literally just living
in their
on the
bread
line.
Yeah, exactly. And so when they're also getting charged for that, like privilege. It's like, this is something they just can't afford.
It's such a minor fee, but it's just on such a big scale that by the end of the year...
all of a sudden you spent like a couple £100 on overdraft fees. That's a couple £100 you could have done with to pay your electricity for a couple months or something like that. Like,
the bank sat there.
That's why it's easy like for us to be saying, oh, just buy an RS5. Like it's obviously, we're saying it now from quite a privileged position, but like I've never, even growing up, been in debt or like gone in. That's when Toby was saying get a credit card. Do get a credit card. It's like a really good thing to do, but make sure
you don't even have to use it.
Yeah,
you can literally just get one, right? And just
no, you have to. I think you have to spend on it and pay it off to
build the credit up. Yeah, but just spend like all I do is spend it, and it just instantly gets paid off at the end of the month.
Yeah.
Like even back when I was 16 and I worked in Tesco's cafe and earned like 80 quid a week or whatever, I still had the credit cards, just pay it off every month and don't spend more than 80 quid a week and stuff like that.
Because I get good rewards on my credit card, sometimes when I make like, I don't know, let's just say like, what was I doing for recently? It was something or other. It was like £150. I used my credit card simply for the rewards, and then on the spot, on my NatWest app, I just transferred the money from my...
People do that with a Monzo now, don't they? You have a Monzo card and you move the money from your bank.
So 2020, 50 grand is going to be the new 40% tax bracket.
Say that again.
50, it's now 46 grand.
Oh, so
it's going to increase to 50 grand. That's really good.
Shout out the Tories. Oh, God. That's when people don't get taught politics or life. People don't. One of the biggest things I learned in college was critical. it was boring as sin, but they made us do like the top people who were getting the best results and stuff. They made us do the extra A level, which is critical thinking.
Yeah.
And it was like, so when everyone else was like trying to get into uni, you could have an extra A level on them. It's proper boring. And it ends up not being asked and not going. But
see, I actually enjoy critical thinking. It's something that I
like critical thinking, but I don't like being forced to go and do a critical thinking A level when everyone else is on their 3 hour.
Yeah.
So I was like, screw this, I'm not going. But that's a really big thing that you don't get taught is critical thinking. Like people are always, something that really annoys me about politics is how polarizing it is. It's like people say, are you a Tory or are you Labour or whatever? And it's like,
that you can be both or neither.
Depending on what the policy is, and you should think critically yourself about what you think about something.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, the Labour want free money for everyone who doesn't make any money, and Tories want no money for everyone. What are you, a Labour? And it's like, well, for this one, I think it would actually be good to give people like a national living wage and stuff. And it could be, think about another thing and think about it in a different way. And everyone's just like, you hate you or they like you, and everyone's in a group and it's proper stupid. Yeah. For Labour. If you want to know.
No, I was going to see. I can hold my hands up and say that I don't know anything about politics.
I don't know lots about politics. I know enough to research it and be able to vote about it and like speak to people about it and stuff like that.
Literally bare minimum.
Yeah, stuff like Northern Ireland had the abortion thing, the referendum, didn't he, last year? That was really interesting. Like I could argue about why you should be able to get an abortion if you want to for absolutely ages.
Who did that? Sorry, Sweden. Who did you say?
Northern Ireland.
Northern Ireland. How did that go for them?
It passed.
To legalise abortion.
Pretty sure. So
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I
could.
Let's make this controversial. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
If I voted on that,
I think your stance point, maybe it won't be, but like mine is like, look, you're in control of your body.
Yeah. So it's just the same as what I was saying before about ninja. Put yourself in someone else's position. Yeah. Have a think about it. Do a bit of critical thinking.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Yeah. And then you're like, oh yeah, okay. And there's other stuff like we had the gay marriage on and stuff like that. And then people will be like all uppity about it, and it's just like, just step back, have a think.
It's not your life.
Are you really asked? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just do what you want. Who cares?
Over there, go get married. How's that affecting you or me?
They might invite us to the wedding.
In which case, it's a bonus, right?
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah, if they're
I'm
over
down
there,
for a wedding.
And it should be the same thing with every other policy, really, where you just think about it and think, oh, what would be the best thing? And sometimes there isn't an answer to what is the best thing, and it's like it's not black or white. There's different balances of different stuff, but that's kind of what I just do. And if it was, if so, the voting system in this country is stupid. It's first past the post, isn't it? And it's terrible. We should have like the alternate vote or the ranked voting system, because you can't vote for the Green Party or I don't really vote for the Lib Dems or anything like that, because they're never going to win.
No,
it's just Labour or Tories.
You mean you wanted to vote for what was his name? Buckethead. You mean you wanted to vote for
Monster Raven Looney Party? Yeah. It's like there would be more centrist parties where what they say is just having to think about it. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, we'll do that. That's a good idea. But you can't do that because you've got to appeal to the extremes and get everyone just on this side line to vote for that and everyone just on this side line to vote for that. So it's really, really annoying. But we also had a vote to change to that, and it got rejected because the media ran a campaign about how terrible it'd be, and everyone voted not for it.
Do you think that it should be a legal requirement to vote?
No.
Why?
People don't know what to talk about.
Sweden have that?
Do they?
But
country in Europe. If
it's a legal requirement to vote, it should also be a legal requirement to be that they have to educate you on it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Because if you're forcing someone to vote, they don't know who they're voting for. You're creating a skewed system.
But can't you void the ballot paper, which is what don't a lot of people do that?
Or just saying, I'm voting to not vote.
Ticking every box just because then it gets void.
It's like Johnson, even more controversy for the show. Here you go. Brexit. People voted for Brexit.
Here we go,
they had absolutely no idea what they were voting for.
No. Yeah, no, it's true.
But they voted and they're like, yeah, Brexit means Brexit. And you're like, what does Brexit mean? No, Brexit means Brexit. And you're just like, did you see that tweet the other day where some guy was like a proper Brexiteer, like Twitter, just some random dude on Twitter. He wasn't like a big thing or anything, but someone found his tweet. He was in Amsterdam Schiphol Airport and he was raging because he had to stand in the queue that wasn't for EU people.
And yet he had a tweet saying that
he's like, this isn't the Brexit I voted for. So what Brexit did you vote for then, you moron? Like, what queue did you expect to stand in?
But if things like this are happening, like Brexit, the general election, and the legal age is 18, how could you be educated if your education is finished by the time you're 18?
In school, another one of those things where you should be taught this sort of stuff. But
But Brexit was like quite...
Well, it's meant to be by the media in it, but that's a very... dystopian.
Even that, I'm not trusting. No
Yeah, exactly. So that's a very. I think dystopian's the wrong word, but it's like utopian. That's like a very utopian belief that the media will educate everyone, as if it isn't controlled by politicians and stuff like that.
It was even just driven by clicks and money, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
It's all about getting their story ahead of somebody else's to make that ad revenue.
But I do think there should be some basic level of education of politics.
Yeah.
In school.
Self-independence financially. Housing, I think, is incredibly important.
With politics, though, it's so easy to put your views onto other people, and like Reddit and Twitter and stuff is very much an echo chamber. Like if you went on Twitter, it seemed like Labour about to win the election by a landslide. And it's just because it's a very socialist echo chamber. It's full of young people and all believe that.
That did bother me, seeing social influencers almost driving their... It's their Twitter accounts. They can tweet what they like. They can give their opinions. But encouraging your followers to vote...
Who's that guy that you like watching? The vlogger that was like running a lot. He's like one of the biggest guys, Casey Neistat.
Yeah.
He told people to vote for someone.
I don't agree with that at all.
Yeah, he was literally
I'll put my foot down and say that is...
I tell people to vote for Labour.
That should be against the law of social media. Encourage your viewers to educate themselves
and make an informed decision based on what they want. Yeah.
Like if you were a follower of mine, I'd be like, go out, read the
Sun, read the Mirror.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
No, but do your own research essentially.
Yeah.
But it's like we just discussed
I'm not
about.
Go and vote for this. Oh, why? Oh, because I'm voting for it.
But with that, like what we just said about abortion or gay marriage and stuff like that. If you say to someone, go and educate yourself on gay marriage, and he comes back and says, I believe that marriage is a sacred thing by God and I'm going to vote for this, would you not rather say, mate, you should be voting for allowing gay marriage because what you've just said is absolutely
But everybody's entitled to their own opinion.
But people's opinion can still be wrong.
It can be, but they're still... Like,
so then should
again,
you not
if someone came back to me and said that, I'd be like, I don't agree with you, but we have our own right to vote for what we want. I don't agree at all with what you're voting for.
But should you not be trying to...
What can I do against...
That's what I was talking about, having a discussion and argument. Should you not be trying to get your point of view across and change their mind to what you think and what is the...
As long as you can do it in a fair manner.
Should they not be trying to
convince
you that they're right?
Yeah.
Which is fair enough. If it's a fair debate, that's absolutely fine. But don't say you've... Like, I can say, okay, fair enough, I disagree with you, Andy. I think this because of A, B, and C. I'm not going to say to you, I disagree with you, Andy, vote this instead. That's where I think that it becomes the point where...
That's the problem with Twitter, and that's why I've always wanted to be on a podcast, because you can't...
Yeah.
On social media, it's very difficult to get your point of view across.
Because if I tell you A, B, and C, I'm trying to educate you into the facts. But if I literally just say, oh, well, I've got 500,000 Twitter followers, and if I'm voting this person, I think you should do it as well. I think that's where it's like, really?
You got 500,000, yeah?
No, not quite. Oh. Nowhere near. Fifth of it.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, that's why Twitter's a bit annoying. And like, you'll see stuff like that, ninja tweets and all stuff, and I'll be like, I really want to have a proper discussion about this, but you get 240 characters and you're just like...
Yeah, you just can't.
It's so hard.
To have,
and then before you know it, you're doing on the end of your tweet, part 1 of 5,
part 1 of 9.
And
then you're just angrily typing as fast as you possibly can to try and get them all
on the Twitter
out.
app, you can like put the plus sign and you can type it all out at once and then press send all.
What?
Yeah.
So educating the followers. That's what we're doing here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it makes it like a thread, doesn't it?
Yeah, literally post a whole thread at once. Do you use the Twitter app or do you use TweetDeck?
I got the Twitter app.
Yeah, so just when you tweet, press plus, and it will just pop another little box below it. You can type out again there.
Well, my social media consultation firm has just gone bust because I'm not screwed.
Should have charged me $20 for that. Can't pay up.
Wow.
Are you looking at how to do it?
No.
He is, isn't he?
Can you do it on mobile? No way.
Yeah, you can do it on mobile and on the PC app.
You're pulling my leg.
I knew you could do it once you'd tweeted, but look, can you see the plus sign on the right-hand side?
Yeah. Is that what that is?
Adding like so the first tweet's hello, the next one's Andy, the next one's...
in my head, I've always thought that was like add an attachment to something. Just in case you wanted to tweet out a Word doc or something like that, because that's what it usually means.
Mad.
Wow.
Right.
What have you got on the cards?
More? You want more? You got more?
This was my problem with the show. When I was watching as a viewer.
We're an hour and a half in or so at the moment.
Are we?
So, yeah.
I'm enjoying myself. Yeah. When I was listening to it, it just ended and I was like, I've got another 90 minutes in me here. Can you come on, keep it coming?
Do you know what? To be fair, there were a lot of comments of people saying
it's not long enough.
Yeah, it's not long enough. So should we do one more question then?
Yeah.
Read the questions out and I'll pick a question if you've got loads.
No, I'm going to pick... Oh, okay. Okay, here's one that someone actually emailed in straight after the first one.
To ask at the show. at ask@theshowpodcast.co.uk.
Yeah, wherever the email address is.
It'll be somewhere.
Which I actually had printed out for Tom, and as you know, we just didn't even get around to the cards. Someone said it'd be cool to hear about any weird paranormal experiences that you have encountered. I know you've got a cool story coming
I've got
up,
a few,
or strange experiences in dreams. Again, something that you can bring up, or something similar.
Just before we answer
paranormal
it,
activity or weird dreams.
first of all, would be, do you believe in it?
I particularly
Just
don't.
yes or no?
No, I particularly don't.
Nah, loads of rubbish.
Can't give a yes or no.
Like, I don't, but I'll tell you a few things. So I used to run a pub.
Sorry, can I just interrupt there? Classify paranormal activity. Like, what do you think that there's another planet out there similar to ours?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay.
Do you know
But you don't agree, you don't believe in...
ghosts and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, so I have 3 stories from a pub that my dad used to run called The George, just off of Regent Street, right? The first one, I sat down on a table not too dissimilar to this, like on a bar table.
Oh, you're taking us back.
With I was
turn the
young.
lights down?
I literally, I was like probably 16 or 17 years old.
Alexa, dim the lights.
You've unplugged it. And it was myself, my friend Phil, his friend Elliot, and some other guy on the table. And we're doing this Ouija board, and Elliot's grandma has passed away. I don't believe in Ouija boards, even when we have our fingers on the shot glass. It was a tumbler, right? Like a small whiskey tumbler. And everyone puts their 2 fingers on. As it's moving, like he's asking, the spirits, are you there? As it moves to the yes, I'm like, look, we're moving this.
One of us here is a clown.
Someone's pushing
People do it
this, right?
subconsciously.
Yeah,
So, like,
right.
people have done studies on it, and like people say they aren't moving it, but like their muscles will gravitate subconsciously towards the letter.
But that's the ghost.
Right. So, anyway, we go through this Ouija board, and Elliot asks a question about his grandmother, and the answer that he gets back is an answer that he's really not happy with, and it upsets him. Now, apparently, for Ouija boards, you have to exit the Ouija board properly, right? And like tell the spirits that you're finished, and so that they can go away and this and that. And he didn't do that. He got really, really angry, stood up, picked up this tumbler. Now, it's relatively thick base, right? Thick glass base, but a glass ultimately. And he launches it at the wall, and it just hits the wall and falls to the floor and doesn't smash, doesn't break, doesn't crack, doesn't dent the wall or anything. And it's one of those things where it's like, what the hell? Like that scared me more than the Ouija board, which I was just kind of like having a laugh with, thinking that this is just a bit stupid. When the glass didn't shatter into a million pieces, I'm like, there's really no explanation for that other than possibly the glass hitting at the exact point where it's just its strongest, so it didn't shatter. But that was something that scared the life out of me.
Scientifically, I believe, is possible.
Yeah,
I've got
so.
smashable wine glasses from Costco.
Yeah, so
like the stem fell off when I dropped it out.
But like these are the sort of glasses where when in the pub you put a tray of glasses in the glass washer, you pick one up and you clip it a little bit and it just like shatters into a million pieces. So to see that was quite crazy.
It's similar to the egg theory. You can't.
Yeah,
crush
you literally
an egg
You can't
because of just
the way
the structure of the egg.
science.
Yeah, the
just
structure
the
of the
way
egg is just too strong.
You can take so much pressure.
You can absolutely walk on eggs.
Yeah.
Like as long as you stand on the very top.
I guess that's kind of similar to the tumbler. How
if it hit it perfectly flat on the wall, it probably wouldn't smash. Yeah.
See, I'm more thinking like.
The corner, hitting there and just bouncing off the wall.
It's just where it's strong. I mean, if you hit there, obviously there's no like.
But so what? Like, and this is one of those things where, and I've read it into this sort of stuff as well, where how you kind of you give yourself memories that didn't exist.
Yeah,
and
that's a very, very big. I did about that. That's a really big thing.
Right. So the memory that I have of it is that the glass hit the wall and then just fell flat. Instead of bouncing. And so I wonder, like, am I actually remembering this how it happened, or am I telling myself?
You don't. So you don't remember. A lot of the time, you don't remember.
So you fill in
what
the voids.
happened. You don't. So
you fill in the blank.
To make
of what
it
you think.
To the best of my understanding, the way it is, when something initially happens, you create like a engram of it or whatever, blah blah blah, in your brain, and when you try to recall that, like you can see it on studies, like the same thing will play again.
Okay.
Like the same, like neurons will fire as if it's happening. Eventually, it gets enough times that you've remembered it, that you stop remembering the initial thing and you start remembering it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you're not actually seeing the exact thing that happens. You just know that that's what you remember the last time you thought about this, and it gets mixed up. And we did about to a degree because of witness. What am I trying to say? Like when there's a crime, witness testimony.
Yeah.
It's really, 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 really bad. And like even stuff, you'll make up memories. Like, have you ever had a car crash?
No.
Have you ever had a car crash? No. Okay, pretend you've had a car crash. And I say to you, like, when you were in your car crash, how fast did you smash into the other car? And you'd be like, 70 miles an hour. Whereas if I said, when you're in your car crash, how fast you bump into the car. You'd be like, oh, 20 miles an hour.
Yeah.
It's the exact same memory, and it depends on how you ask the question
Yeah.
or make people think about it differently and stuff like that. So
Yeah, that's fair.
there's also the thing of humans always trying to rationalize why things happen and filling in the gaps and making up why something might have happened, and it ends up being a paranormal thing that's not actually real, because that's the unrational is sometimes the most rational way that something could have happened. Do you know what I mean? I'm really interested in your other ghost stories.
Yeah, so the other story...
Tell the one about
the crates.
Yeah.
So in this same pub, when we
that makes it even more spooky.
Yeah, well, it is. All three of them come from this same
And I'm not
pub.
joking, that genuinely could be.
Yeah, it could be haunted.
I did say it as a joke. But...
Interestingly enough, in the pub, in the cellar, when you go down to the cellar, right, it's just this massive open space. There's a cold cellar, and you walk through the cold cellar, where all like the kegs of beer and stuff are stored. You walk through the cold cellar into what we call a dry cellar, which is where you just keep all the bottles of tonic and Coke and the bottles of beer before they go up and get refrigerated. In this cold cellar, you would go around a corner to the right or around a corner to the left, and there's these doors that are blocked off. And my dad got really intrigued one day, and I'm like knocked through the doors and stuff, and it's a whole tunnel system under like central London for old bomb shelters. So having ghosts there could be a genuine possibility if that thing really exists, and if you could, that could be.
And I'm on board with this story, by the way.
Right. So every night I used, as a 16-year-old boy or 15-year-old boy, I used to go and restock the shelves. I'd write down a list of everything that was missing, go down to the dry cellar, fill up the crates, take the crates up the stairs, and then I put the crates through a hatch to the bar. So instead of going all the way up the stairs, all the way around the bar and back behind the bar, I'd put these crates through the hatch. The staff that were working at the time would fill up the shelves real quick, or if they weren't, I would fill up the shelves. And then at the end of the night, I'd kick open the hatch from the bar side, and I'd just throw the crates, and they'd just tumble down the stairs. This one occasion, I kicked the crates all down the stairs, and I was the first one up in the morning, because we used to have a flower man, and somebody had to go and let him in until he ended up like getting trusted enough to have his own key or whatever. I went and let in the flower man, and he used to have his flowers kept at the bottom of the stairs. Like he'd just have like all the flowers that he'd put outside the pub and try and sell to all the people walking to and from work and stuff. And this particular morning, I opened the cellar door, walked down the stairs to about 7 crates stacked perfectly in size order from bottom to top. And not a single person, I turned the alarm off to the pub. So not a single person could possibly have gone and stacked it. Not a single person. And so that's something I don't have an answer for how that happened. Like,
and
maybe
you don't believe in it.
Yeah, and I don't believe in it. But there's no logical explanation as to how it could have happened.
Have you seen excuse me, have you seen all the stories on Reddit of people thinking they've got ghosts? And it's actually people living in their house that they don't know.
We talked about that. My Eve system is pretty big enough for someone to live in. I watched a horror film
with that recently. They're scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was some murderer living in the literally like in there. Yeah. And they just one by one killed off the family. Scary.
That's creepy. Maybe someone was living down in the tunnels and thought he'd help out.
Yeah, but possibly that. They could.
Obviously, I wish I had a story to top that.
Yeah.
I haven't had any
No.
Although my dream yesterday.
Yeah.
So yesterday I came into the office, didn't think anything weird. Nep was wearing a polo that I hadn't seen before. It was like a burgundy polo. Hadn't seen it before. And from my desk, I walked to the toilet, and you see where the bin is over there. It was like the bin was open, and there was just a clothing tag just sat on the top, where Nep had obviously new shirts, taken it off and just thrown it onto the top of the bin. So I literally was walking to the toilet, just there, and I see it on my left, I acknowledge it, and then I go into the bathroom, and then all of a sudden it clicked in my head that the night before I had a dream that I was at my desk and Nep was streaming, and at the end of the stream he realised he still had his neck label in, and I was just like, and we both laughed, I just thought that was weird, that I dreamt about him streaming with a neck label on his new top. The top wasn't, I wish I could say, it was the same polo as well. It wasn't. But I just thought that was just
pretty
massively, it could be coincidental.
Do you ever have lucid dreams?
Nah.
Do you know what a lucid dream is?
Yeah. You can try to teach yourself, but it's never worked.
Like my friend from school called James, he used to read books on dreams all the time, and I had a recurring dream, and I told him about it, and so we got into talking about dreams, and he told me how you can recognize when you're in a dream, and then how to.
I've tried it a couple of times, but it just never quite worked.
So one of the best tricks in a book is just to fall asleep with a red ball next to you or a coloured ball, and then as soon as you see that ball in your dream,
as in a red
Yeah, literally a red ball. Yeah, not a red ball. Yeah, like a
I was thinking, Christ, how are you going to fall asleep with a red ball in you?
No, like a blue ball or an object, like a horse or something, and then so then when you, as you're sleeping, when you see that horse in, like, let's say, I don't know, you're running around shooting guns and stuff, and then you just see a horse, and you're like, I'm dreaming. Then you can control the dream. Now
so
you have
it links
power
the
over
two
your dream.
worlds together.
Essentially, yeah.
Like Inception with the little.
Yeah, literally, and that's how it comes about. So for me, I never had a red ball or anything. I had a reoccurring dream of my mum walking away from me and me not being able to call her name, like constantly screaming mum, but no.
So
words
I have
coming
dreams
out.
like that sometimes. You know, the sign. Do you know why it happens?
No.
So when you
Separation anxiety.
so I'm not saying why you get that actual dream, but you know why you can't shout. It's when your body is in REM sleep, which is when you have dreams. Your brain releases a hormone that makes you paralyzed.
Yeah,
so you can't act out your dreams and stuff like that.
before. Yeah, woke up paralyzed. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Is it? I thought
No,
you said it was
it's well
terrifying.
scary.
No. Have you done it?
I think so, once.
Yeah, I had it.
I've never had that. I've never had that.
It's
Yeah.
honestly,
Sleep paralysis.
Sleep paralysis, yeah.
It's a sensational feeling because you just can't move, and all you can do is like
I know
you have
Marshall
your
has it
thoughts,
quite a lot.
and you can move your eyes.
Oh, most people get terrified by
Yeah,
it.
Well,
that's
the first
all I've
time I was
heard.
like, "What's happening?" But then once you like understand what it is, when you wake up,
Doesn't it last forever though?
no.
No,
Don't
so
people have it for like a long time though?
So your body's
Like,
meant
they
to
not?
do it. It's like a natural thing. It's just when you wake up, it's like a malalignment, which you shouldn't have woken up.
yeah.
Because you should still be paralyzed instead of dreaming. I think
So
I've
you
had a
literally
weird,
just, what,
really.
are you in your sleeping position?
Well, I was like,
I think I've had it once, and I
Dead
thought
straight.
someone was stood at the end of my bed, and I was shitting myself, but I couldn't move or shout. And obviously, it's like kind of like when you need a wee in your dream, and you're like,
You
really,
literally
why can't I wait?
yeah.
Why can't I
Can't
wait?
move a muscle.
And then you wake
You're just
up and you
like-
think, Christ, the good job I didn't have a wee.
yeah.
But yeah, you can't shout, and that's how I've clicked onto being in a dream before, where I've been like trying to shout help, and I'm like, and nothing happens, and you're like,
Yeah,
I'm dreaming.
And then when you get control over your dreams, it's brilliant. You can
See, I
literally
want
do.
that, dude.
Well, so and I
Because you know, whatever you do, there's no
before.
like, just go steal a car.
Yeah, and
Yeah, literally just
play
That's what I've done.
GTA, IRL.
yeah.
a few
IRS.
times, you know, killed a few people in my dreams. It's fine. Yeah.
Oh, I need that.
Although you know, people can actually die in their dreams. Have you ever had that falling feeling, and then you wake up just before you hit the floor?
So I thought you always
That's when
woke
you
up
hit-
before you died in your dreams.
You do, but some people don't. They did studies on it, and this, like, I believe he was a Chinese man, hit the floor in his dream and actually died in his sleep.
As in his dream or in real life?
Like in real life, he died,
died.
because in his dream like, I don't know.
Nah,
I promise
really?
you, like, go and look at it afterwards.
Nah,
there was
that's
a
not a
full
thing.
documentary on it. I promise you, man. Like,
I mean,
How did they know that he hit
the
the floor in his dream if he's dead and couldn't tell him?
so again, this is
Yeah,
one of those things. Well, so no. So this is one of those things where I can't recall everything perfectly, but to what I remember is that he was having this recurring dream where he was falling all the time. And then so they started doing studies on him, and every time he would go to sleep,
The shock
they
of the
would
body or
track his brain and.
I've
and
been
the
in one of them. It's well
activity.
cool. Well, I had to sleep though. Yeah.
And then eventually, he just didn't wake up from his sleep one time, and that was it.
Yeah, but he just died. You don't know
Yeah.
that he hit the floor.
Well, yeah, but you don't know how,
No,
but, like,
yeah,
because
yeah.
of the.
He could have just had a random heart attack and it was
Yeah.
nothing to do with the
Could have
dream.
been, yeah, but because of the pre-story of him constantly feeling
The
like he's going to
story
die in
sounded
his
like,
dream, in his dreams, like that's crazy. Like, look it up afterwards, and it'll
That's
be
interesting.
Twice a year I have a dream of my teeth falling out.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, just like
That-
that's
that-
so real.
That's a
There-
Freudian
so
thing.
real.
that is something. I grind
So
my
real.
teeth actually in my
Really?
sleep. Yeah, I got a couple of my teeth are like getting pointy.
I wake up like.
Do you want to know what the
happiest
Freudian
person
finger
in
of
the
that?
world that I've got my teeth. One second.
Do you know Freud? Sigmund. Yeah, there's Sigmund Freud. Freudian theory is absolute load of rubbish, but he's the guy who thinks that it's the ego and the I can't remember what it all is. It's a load of crap basically. It's like really, really old psychology. But he's the guy who thinks that boys want to sleep with their mums and the dads are jealous and that's why, and all this sort of crap. Yeah, but the Freudian thing is like when your teeth fall out, it's because you're sexually frustrated.
See, if you actually look at dream books, though, there is something to do with
Cheers.
there is something to do with your teeth falling out. There is a correlation to it with certain level, like certain stresses in your life that cause you to have those dreams.
Mate, it's genuinely so real.
Just
It's
Google it
so
afterwards.
real.
Just Google it afterwards, and it'll tell you why.
It's meant to be like you feel like something can go wrong in your life.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
Anxiety,
Yeah, there you go, and that's why it happens. Yeah, there you go. Major life changes. Like, and so
Wow.
so there is a genuine real world correlation
But
to you having a dream about
I
your
have
teeth
it-
falling out.
I have it like literally like 2-3 times a year. But but I've had that for like the last 3 years. So it's consistent, but on a vast separation of events.
And you have gone through a lot of major life changes. Like you lost your hair a couple of years ago. Like.
I knew there was some punchline coming.
Lost so much weight now, your clothes don't fit.
The fear of getting older to money issues is another. There you go, another one for teeth falling out.
Anything else you guys want to depress me about right now?
No, so most of the stuff like that is just made up, and that's like Freud is just all.
Well, the term Freudian slip is
so that's where it comes from. Yeah. But most of his stuff is like proper old school. Oh, you've got a headache, let's drill a hole in your head. That'd be like the biological version of Freud, like the medical version of Freud. But he's a bit whack. He's crazy.
Well, I saw a subreddit recently, Ask Reddit. Occasionally there's threads that just pop off and it's on the homepage for like 2 days. One of them was, what dream do you have that you think's like really weird, but once you told someone about it, it actually turned out to be like a massively common thing. And I went on it, I wish I could remember some of the posts, but literally one of them was, I dream a lot that my teeth fall out.
Yeah.
Everyone must be dreaming about like money issues or high anxiety, life changes, that sort of stuff.
Tight.
There you go. So that's it.
That is it.
We done? Yeah, that was good. Cheers for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
AJ3 FIFA.
Yeah,
and
thanks,
Tobias
mate.
Gaming. Appreciate you guys.
I've always wanted to be on a podcast.
What did I tell you the first 5 minutes? Gaming is cringe.
Yeah, well, why did you call yourself Tobias Gaming then?
I'm going to tease the viewers. This is what you could have found out. Am I going to spoil your other episodes, Toby, or are these specifically for me?
No, we covered the specific ones. Unfortunately. If we didn't, because then we would have had more to talk about for... Is there something?
No, I'm just reading parasocial relationships. That's what I sent him, wasn't it?
Covered that, yeah.
Yeah, about how I think social media is weird. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anything else there tickle your fancy?
Not really. I wish I had a podcast just to talk about loads of random stuff, and when stuff happens, it's like
come on again.
It's hard to just
$20.
$20.
Yeah.
I'll pay $20 to just come and talk loads. They're just random stuff.
$20 for that,
like
Twitter.
Yeah, that Twitter thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Trick.
Like I went to, not to make the podcast even longer, I went to Auschwitz not so long ago.
To do, actually.
Yeah, and I expected it to be like some. This is why for me Twitter's like the thing where like you just share some thoughts, but it's well hard to like properly share them. Whereas a podcast you can actually like explain yourself properly, and people can't take it out of context. Well, they could still take it out of context, but it's hard to take it out of context. You get to actually say why you're saying this and stuff like that. Yeah, I went to Auschwitz and I was expecting it to be like this crazy, and obviously what happened is crazy, and what happened there is
mad,
insane. Just, it's ridiculous. Like, it's so hard to get your head around even seeing it, but it's like a tourist attraction. It's really, really weird. Like
same
people,
as Chernobyl, isn't it? Like
people are just taking selfies.
You see that Instagram girl that blew up for guy. She like went to Chernobyl, went to like the
illegally.
No. Well, you're allowed there.
Yeah,
you are,
but there's some places that are like
and she started like just taking pictures of her in like scantily clad outfits and stuff, just like in front of the factories that exploded and stuff like that. And it's just
a bit
weird.
Didn't think this one through.
But her Instagram blew up from it, so she's now mad famous because she did something like that.
But like even just normal people, like there's a couple of rooms in Auschwitz, so they've turned the camp where they used to stay. One of them, there's two of them. There's the Auschwitz camp and there's Belkenbergen, I think it is. Where Birkenau, Belkenbergen's a different one. Birkenau, where that you sort of just walk around that, and that was like the overflow camp. But they've turned like the main one where it had like actual buildings already there because it was army barracks into a museum essentially, and you can take photos and everything of it. But I was walking around like, just looking at stuff and like taking it in and like thinking about it and stuff. And like, it's a crazy thing to see. It's weird that it's just, I expect it to be in the middle of nowhere. It's just in a town.
Yeah.
It's really weird. But I don't know why in my head I've always envisioned it like
just out
in the middle of nowhere where no one could see it. It's literally just in a town.
Yeah.
It's just across the road from like a school and stuff like that, and a shop and a petrol station, and it's mental. Yeah, but people are taking photos of everything. And I was thinking, who are you going to show these photos to, and what are you going to do with these photos? Like, obviously, it's important that this stuff has photographs taken of it for historical documentation. But why do you need? And why does this next person behind me and this next person behind me?
That's probably the same as 90% of my camera roll.
Yeah.
Why take a picture of
what's
that?
the point?
So that's why I don't get social media, and like, it's weird because I like sometimes watching people's vlogs and Instagram stories and stuff like that. But I've never understood why anyone, even though they would, like I made a vlog channel and got like 100k subs in like no time at all, and we get like a couple of 100k, just to get one of my actual name. My 100k plaque says AJ3 FIFA.
Oh
yeah. Then I've got AJ3 plays, and then my big plaque just says AJ3, but I've got one that says Andy Castell.
Plays,
vlog channel.
I'm gonna have to create a new channel to get
Yeah.
that.
But I don't get, even though hundreds of thousands of people were watching it, I don't get why.
Yeah. I say that to him all the time. I don't understand why people watch me on my content. It's
I
just
think
weird.
everyone says about themselves, like, why me over
Yeah.
X, Y, Z?
Yeah, but there's a couple of rooms you're not allowed to take photos in because there's like proper like deep stuff in there. Like there's one room that's just full of hair. Have you guys been? No.
No, I wanna-
So when people get there, they like shave their heads bald, and like all of the hair is just in this room. And the Nazis used to like make rugs out of it and all stuff like that. It's so creepy. And when the camp got shut down, all the stuff that they were planning to like turn into carpets and curtains and
left
whatever,
there.
it's just there in this room. And it's literally just like millions of people's hair.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and there's like a sign you can't take a photo of that. There's if people want to see it, there's photos of it like that have been done properly, like to document it on the internet. But like you can't be like, because people literally do that. There's one bit where you can take a photo of it, and it's a massive, massive skip, and it's all the pots and pans because the people were told who were going there that they were just being moved. Like everybody knows the story of like the Holocaust and like how it was like oppressing Jewish people and stuff like that, and like minorities and stuff. But they weren't getting told they were going to get killed. They were getting told that, oh, we just want you like out of our country sort of thing. You're getting moved. And they'd pack up their lives and whatever they could carry, they could take with them. So they'd take like their pants, they could cook the dinner, and they'd take their shoes. Obviously, they'd be wearing shoes, but they'd take like stuff. And there's just one room, and it's just full, like absolutely massive room of just pots and pans of these people who rocked up on the train, took them off them. They were going to like melt them down and sell them. Obviously, they couldn't because the place got shut down, and they couldn't like burn it. They tried to burn it all, but they didn't burn it all down. And anyway, this room's just there, and people are like taking photos of her and stuff. And it's like, bro, this person like was on a train. Like you can see pictures of them getting off the train. There's like 2 lines, and there's one line with like you're getting put to work, and there's another line where you're instantly going to die. And there's like these people's stuff in this room, and you're just rocking up and taking a photo of it on your phone, on your iPhone.
Yeah,
So
pretty
weird.
savage, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't get it. So that's why I want to have a podcast. You can
Yeah.
talk about stuff like
Hey,
that. If you put
come
that on
back
Twitter,
again.
someone will be like,
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
"Go on,
This isn't FIFA.
Yeah, I don't know.
Next time we're desperate for a guest again, we'll bring her on.
Yeah, maybe I'll just start my own.
No, don't do that.
What was it? The FIFA show,
Well,
Take it.
the show free.
Well, there you go. I thought that was good.
Yeah,
That
very
was
good.
a lot of fun. Thank you guys for listening or watching, if you listened or watched.
Thank you for coming on, Andy.
Yep.
Thanks
I
for having me.
appreciate it. Yeah, I definitely think AJ3 FIFA should be on again.
Yeah.
But
So-
most
can be found in there.
requested guest. If I do say so myself.
You were actually. You were quite.
who was the most requested
Hi.
guest? Like Sidemen.
Yeah.
Those sort of
Just
guys.
call the channel with the side men.
Now that we've got, we started with Tom, like as our test case. We've moved up to AJ. So hey, JJ, if you want to come on, and yeah, if people want to get in questions for in 2 weeks episode,
The email address
after
is
the show podcast.co.uk, co.uk, not co.uk. Try not to give us FIFA related
I'm
questions.
cutting out all the FIFA ones.
Yeah,
Sorry.
most will get ignored, and we want to.
I do read them.
Yeah,
But they just get deleted.
yeah,
Just because you don't want a FIFA.
yeah, and there you go. And so thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.